All right, welcome to the Comic Wrestling Podcast. This is another episode of the Comic Shop, a special episode of the Comic Shop.
A timely episode.
A timely one, yes. I am the host of the Comic Shop, the wild card, Ace Williams, and this starburst-eating, deadly-looking son of a bitch is...
Deadly Dave.
So, yes, it's kind of perfect that you said that. A timely episode. Marcadius was supposed to be joining us today, but he had to go to work, unfortunately, so he is here with us in spirit.
That's right. Our third wheel, as it were.
Right. Because if he was here in body, I'm going to say right now, I beat the fuck out of him. I beat him up. My elbow hurts so bad. I haven't rested it on anything until now. Oh. Smashed it the other day, and it's got a big black and blue, but it hurts like a bitch. I have not rested it on anything until right now, and I don't like it. But the other day we did our Lord of the Rings,
which will be out after this one because we wanted to be timely. So.
Our Lord of the Rings episode, which if people have been following us, you know why we did a Lord of the Rings one. We'll be doing 2 more after that. But this past Saturday, the 22nd of August, I don't know what the fuck today's date is. 6 days later. 7 days later, a week later, I don't know. Handful of days later. We wanted to do kind of a not up to date, yeah, I guess you call it up to date, current episode on what happened Saturday, which was the DC Fandome, and a bunch of reveals of a bunch of DC stuff. I did not write all of it down. There was a lot more than what I covered or chose to cover. There was a shit ton, and I only picked kind of like what pertains to me specifically, our show, and that's pretty much it. But we wanted to have a current episode up for that because it's all pretty big fucking cool news. So like Dave said, if you are interested in the Lord of the Rings episodes, it will be up after this. This will be up within like a day or 2.
Yep.
Which
hopefully tomorrow morning.
Which will be cool and you know, like just trying to be current and all that good stuff. Before we jump into any of that, the Deadly One has something he'd like to share.
I actually have a gift for you and Mark. I didn't know he wasn't going to be here. You might think it's stupid, but I saw it and I thought you guys, since you do collect things...
Oh boy, oh boy. There it is, the movie no one wants. And is it Mark get the same thing?
Yep.
That's terrific. He will go apeshit for that. I'll save this here, and you can give this to him on the next episode. I will not even tell him about this. I will not mention this to him. I'm going over to his house today because not only did I get this today, which is pretty awesome, but not. And if anyone knows what I mean by that, it's not a shot at like, oh, what a shitty gift. It's like, this is a gift that's just shitty. I don't know how else to say that. I love it. It'll now fit. Actually, it won't fit in over there. I have to completely rearrange my DVDs because they just don't all fit together anymore. But did you have to like specifically order this?
Yeah.
Or was it like you found this?
I saw it on eBay and I was like, I've heard you guys talk about a horrible Fantastic Four movie.
Have you seen this?
No. But I figured it was kind of like the Captain America that we watched.
No,
is it even worse?
Yeah.
But I was like, it's something they might like to have, just
we
to
will
have.
Do because you've doomed us. Get it? Doomed. We will do a watch along of this at some point. Obviously, we have a couple episodes playing out in the future. We've got two more we have to do.
Yep.
But
when I saw it was unreleased and everything, I was
this is an American version, or you know what I'm trying to say, Region 2 or whatever the fuck we are.
Yep.
What region are we?
Region 1.
Are we 1?
Yeah. Number 1.
Number 1.
I just thought it was something cool. So
no, this is this is pun intended. Fantastic gift. Just. I'm so anal. Oh my god, I'm so fucking...
I mean, I knew it was going to be like a DVD-R copy and shit, but I was like, I just thought it was cool looking and, something to add to the collection.
I have to say, like, if you haven't seen the movie and you know it did come out in the 90s, not the artwork, but the pictures and shit the dude used or whatever, make it look like, oh, that looks kind of different and neat, but once you see it, you're like, right there, you see that scene right there, and you're like... Why? You didn't put that suit on and realize you couldn't be hurt underneath? The Fantastic Four will be destroyed.
That's fucking funny.
Like, wow. I'm going to watch this at some point. Actually, I'm going to wait. wait till we do our watch along. But Mark will love it. He will absolutely get a kick out of it because the Fantastic Four are his favorite superheroes. I just don't think this is his favorite Fantastic. Actually, this isn't his least favorite. The one I got him is probably his least favorite. Yeah. So very great.
I just thought it looked cool, you know. And
oh no, that's perfect. Those are really great.
And I know you like, as far as collecting, you like even the crappy ones. You like having them to be, you know, complete, kind of.
I'm trying to think right now. All the Marvel movies that I specifically know of that they've ever released or didn't release, because that, real quick, this was never released on DVD. This was so fucking bad that the company was like, you know what? No. We made it. We should have realized we shouldn't have, but we did. But let's not release it to the public, because it's really bad. And the only way you could have gotten this, I think it came out originally in like 94.
But knowing who Roger Corman is, and knowing
I have no idea who that is.
He did kind of like Sharknado kind of movies back in the day. So like,
he presents this. So what did he do with it?
I think he produced part of it. But knowing that he did some of this, like, you should know that it's going to be that way. That it's going to be bad. Like, he just made movies to make money. He didn't to make a little bit of money.
What do you mean, because like Sharknado, clear as shit, didn't come out before this, so you wouldn't know.
No, I mean he made just low budget, like
before or after this.
Before.
Okay.
A lot. He just made pumped out movies just to pump out movies and didn't really care about what the real story was.
Oh wow, it's actually got like a movie poster writing on the back. I can hardly read. Part muscle, part elastic. Let me start over. Part muscle, I'm not going to read it with as much enthusiasm now, because that second one got me. Part muscle, part elastic, part fire, part invisible.
All fantastic.
Together, it's clobbering time.
That's horrible.
It would have been better if it said together they are fantastic. Because together it's clobbering time. What does that mean? Right. They're going to beat you up? Well, that sounds awful. And you know, me being a comic nut, reading it the way it is, part muscle, part elastic, part fire, part invisible, all I can think of is a Super Skrull, who is derived of all four superpowers of the fucking Fantastic Four. This movie is god-awful, and I love that I own it. I don't know where I'm going to put it, but I'll just stick it here, because I want him to be known. Put my AEW title right there. I love it.
Le Champion.
Le Champion with the title in the background. So yeah, there's that. I mean, that's a fantastic gift. That really is. I appreciate it. Mucho gracias. And I know Marcadius will. He'll get a kick out of that. He'll be like, what? So I like that they went though the extra effort and put widescreen on there. Because you might as well just cut to credits. I don't know. I've seen the movie one time. It'll make it 2 next time we see it.
And maybe that'll be the last.
But I'm trying to think, like, all the superhero movies that they've made, even the shitty ones, I think I have all of them. As many as I can think of. I mean, I have the original Lou Ferrigno Hulk movies. I have 3 of them, actually. I have 3 of those. I have the one with Thor in it, the one with Daredevil in it, and then just the regular straight, like, movie. The shitty Captain America ones, all of them. The Nick Fury movie. Dolph Lundgren is the Punisher. I don't know why I said it like that. He's like Russian or something.
He turned into Schwarzenegger.
Schwarzenegger!
A subdued Schwarzenegger.
I listened... If anybody's still following us, thanks. I listened to Tim Burton earlier on Howard Stern. I don't know how long ago this was, but I listened to it earlier, and Tim Burton was talking about his Superman movie that he wanted to make. And he goes, yeah, the movie, company, they wanted Superman to, like... his clothes to be made out of corduroy. They wanted flames on his boots. And they wanted him in, like, red basketball shorts. I'm like, what the fuck is that movie?
I remember Kevin Smith saying when he did the first draft, like, they said they didn't want to see him fly. They didn't want to see him in the suit.
Yeah.
He's like, what?
What Superman movie do you want?
Is this Space Jam? Instead of Superman?
That's perfect. Can we segue into Space Jam real quick? Have you heard or seen anything new
I've seen a couple of the still photos of it and stuff with him in the uniform and stuff.
Okay, did you see, like... There's a picture... I don't know how into it I am right now in the moment. But there was a picture that came out the other day, and there's a guy that I follow, 3C Films on YouTube. His name's Chris. I think he's probably like one of the best movie info kind of guys there is out there, and he's very like straightforward with his opinion. And there was a picture that had leaked from the movie, which you can tell it's like Photoshop, but it is real in the same token. And it's LeBron James like going up for like a layup or something, and I wish we could have like the picture. I wish we could pull the. Why does it look like there's so much space over here? It didn't look like that when I feel like before. I don't know. Whatever. Off the rails. But and it's a picture of LeBron James going for a layup, and then this big, fat, white dude with tattoos going up his arms in like a white basketball outfit, shorts and jersey, like a white headband, big fucking beard, and then long fucking scraggly thick hair like all the way down to his ass.
Okay.
It's a Warner Brothers character. I want you to take a guess at who you think that is. Because from what they're going off of, my information that I'm going off of, the guy said, he's like, I scoured everywhere, and he goes, and I can't find anything to say this is fake. So it's real. Who do you who does a Warner Brothers character like that sound like to you? Big fat dude with a big gray and brown beard, big long fucking scraggly hair.
I don't fucking know. That doesn't sound like Yosemite. Don't tell me Yosemite
No,
Sam.
it's a real person. It's a real person. It's not a like he's a real human in the thing. It's not a cartoon character. I'm gonna say one fucking movie, and you're gonna be like, stop. I'm gonna say what he's from. He's from Harry Potter.
They're fucking putting Hagrid in this shit?
Apparently that's Hagrid. With tattoos. Fucking... I don't know what they're doing with this. I have no idea now what they're doing.
I hope that's not real.
That's what it's saying. Because all my damn DVD player... all I can say is, from my synopsis of it, is Don Cheadle is the villain.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm going to assume he is like a Warner Brothers executive. Oh, the Looney Tunes, they're a great property. We got to market them. And, well, Space Jam, it's going to be a meta joke. It's breaking the fourth wall now. Space Jam was a great movie. How can we capitalize on that? Let's pull all these characters from all these movies we own and force them to play basketball against Space Jam characters. I don't know. I have the slightest idea, because then at the end of his video, there was a leaked video of, like, green screen and characters and shit, and then they showed, like, the only character I really could make out who it was the Wicked Witch.
Yeah.
From, oh my god, Wizard of Oz, yeah. And she's spinning a basketball on her finger. And I'm like... I don't know, because there's a Looney Tunes character that is the Wicked Witch.
Yeah. The only one I remember seeing was, like, LeBron James in the background and Lola Bunny kind of in the foreground.
Right, yeah, no, these were, like... Oh, actually, the one with Hagrid doing, like, the smack out of LeBron James' hand, you see a pair of feet in the upper corner. Like, these guys are, like, lower, like, in my picture here. Like, yep. They'd be lower down here. And then up here, you see it's either Bug Bunny's feet or Lola's feet. And then you see... an iconic pair of black and white high heels. Which, if you've seen the Suicide Squad, you know it's Harley Quinn's feet.
Yep.
Joker, there was a still shot of Joker on a green screen kind of thing.
So they're pulling in everything.
I don't know. I really don't know if this is going to be just too convoluted. Like, what? Like, just make a sequel to basketball, like a basketball movie.
Yep.
Like, that's it. That's all you got to do. But Hagrid, apparently. The thing that loses me is, like, the tattoos. Like,
yeah. Like, they corrupted him or something, you know, like... You know, he became a... I mean, he rode a motorcycle in one movie, but did he become a straight-up biker?
But he was, like, probably the most nicest, humane person in the Lord of the Rings. Or... Harry Potter. But I thought that was, like, weird and odd and whatever.
Yeah.
But, Actually, we are watching, because we always watch something, to kind of correlate and keep us going. Actually, this is... Let me grab the DVD case. It must have come in like a 2-pack like bonus movie or something. I have no idea. Necessary Evil Supervillains of the DC Comics. So why not? I mean, we're talking essentially all about DC stuff other than the first half hour.
And it hasn't even actually really
I have that
been
shirt
that
with
long.
all them on that. But
I remember seeing that poster.
Pause that for a minute. But yeah, this is just a documentary, I guess. I think Christopher Lee narrates it. I really do believe so. But yeah, we'll just watch this for background sounds and shit to pull from or whatever.
Yep.
Maybe they'll talk about some villains that we're going to talk about, because this is very... Well, the Suicide Squad mostly is very villain-oriented, which 99% of them I do not know. But, so yeah. Play this actually now. Actually, I do want to see who's narrating it real quick. Yeah. That's Christopher Lee.
Yep. Sauron? Oh, no.
That should be fine.
That's cool.
It's cool that they're, like, pulling it from, like, one of the Arkham games, the movies, the cartoons. That's the best Batman game, I think.
Yeah, this is cool to see the different, genres of stuff that they use them in.
Right, and not just talk about, like, oh, this is the villains from the comic books. It expands. This is pretty neat. So yeah, anyways, the DC Fandome, as you can see, it says right here, 2020. I don't know if they'll do a 2021 one. But there was a shit ton of things that came out this past Saturday at their Fandome. I have a list of these things. I don't have the whole kit and goddamn caboodle. But what I have, we'll kind of just go down the list. The Shazam. Now, did you see you saw Shazam, first movie, I guess. I actually enjoyed it. I didn't think I was going to like it as much as I did, but there's Zack Snyder. I actually did enjoy it quite a bit.
Yeah, I did too.
It was inevitable that there would be a sequel.
Oh, yeah.
Only because we live in a world where these superhero movies, even if there wasn't a connected universe, these franchises are just that, a franchise, and they're going to milk them.
And they're going to make money despite themselves anyway.
Oh, exactly. So a couple things in the Shazam world kind of came out on Saturday. The first thing I had noticed was the Black Adam teaser. Now, anybody that's been, paying attention to comic book movies and all that kind of news for like the last 25 fucking years would know that The Rock has been petitioning or rumoring, pandering, pretending, whatevering to play the Black Adam in a standalone movie, a montage, I don't know, a group movie. I'm not really sure what his goal was, but he'd always said, I'm playing the Black Adam, blah, 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 blah. And it's passe, right?
Yeah, it got old.
So, Saturday, it came out that there's a teaser for it. Now, it wasn't a movie teaser where they show, quick snippets of the actual movie, because there was nothing. Yeah. I liked it. I thought it was different. It was something. It actually wasn't just The Rock sitting there on Twitter or Facebook Live saying, I can't do The Rock, but I'm playing the Black Adam character. Like, okay, I'll see that when I see that, right? And so in this little video package, it was kind of neat, because you saw like some cool artwork. The Rock is narrating it. The only thing I really remember him saying is the hierarchy in the DC universe is about to change. Which is interesting to think, like, okay, well, how big of a character are you going to be?
Right.
Opposed to just being Black Adam, who is essentially Shazam's villain. How big are they going to scale you then? Are you going to be like one of the top tier villains that's going to...
Are they going to build it around you further?
Right. Yeah. Will you be a consistent thing in the future of these movies? It's interesting to see. I mean, it is Rock. He's the biggest fucking movie star of the world. I can't imagine it's a one and done deal. You can clearly see him as an actor trying to make a franchise off of almost anything he does.
And to be honest, that's a franchise that kind of needs somebody bankable. Yeah. You know what I mean?
It does. It does. And to have... my biggest thing is he has to stay a villain. Do not make him an anti-hero. You can do that with Venom because Venom can cross over, be both. Yep. Black Adam is a villain. I gotta pause it right there, because that's... Actually, I'm not gonna pause it. But, it's just... He's a villain. He shouldn't be humanized. He shouldn't be sympathized. He is a villain at the end of the day. And I don't want to see, like, well, The Rock, he's getting really good, like, people are loving him. We gotta make him wear a smile. Like, no, you don't. No, you fucking don't. Joaquin Phoenix's Joker movie proved that villains can stand head and shoulders above the hero.
Yep.
Without even having the hero in it. So, that's part one. I mean, the teaser was cool because it showed, like, still shot artwork of, like, him as, like, a slave, and I don't even know what period any of his stuff takes place in, but before Jesus Christ, let's just say that. It totally looked, for people that know God of War, it looked very God of War, the still shots and stuff, which was cool for me, because I do like those games, and it allowed me to buy into it, instead of being like, I have to feel like I like this. I was like, oh no, I like this. It was easy for me to buy into. Anyways, I guess, I don't know much about Black Adam other than he is a villain. He is just a villainous motherfucker. Like, here he is on the back of the cover, looking sinister.
Yep.
Sinister as hell. I know some people are bummed out that he doesn't have the hair. He's going to be bald. Give him hair when he's younger, and then when he's, like, it's, 5,000 years later, then let him be bald. Just, there doesn't need to be a rhyme or reason, like, well, what, he shaved his head? Sure. I don't give a fuck what his deal is. Because I do want him to have the hair because it is an iconic image. Look at that. That's beautiful artwork. I have that comic. And that's amazing. That's amazing shit right there. That is a good fucking read. I have that. Like, look at that. Two-headed fucking little... I love that. I love that. That's what my mask... I don't even know where the hell it is. I think it's in my room. That's what my mask that I have is based off of. But then with Shazam, now we're going to transition back into Shazam in his movie. I don't know when Black Adam comes out, by the way. I don't know the release dates for most of this shit. But the Shazam, other than the name of the movie, I don't have anything to go with. But the name of the movie is Shazam, Fury of the Gods. That sounds kind of badass to me after we see the last one, which dealt with gods. I mean... I don't know if they're gods in the sense of, like, Jesus Christ.
But they have godlike powers.
Right, they're godlike entities. Yep. Absolutely. More or less, Greek mythology gods.
Yep.
That's more what they're closely related to. This was a great cartoon, by the way, as well. The Batman. That's Bane.
That's cool.
It was a really cool cartoon. But I think there will be a Black Adam movie, but then I also believe Black Adam will be in the Shazam movie. I can't even speculate on what they could do with it, because Shazam had a talking worm that I don't really know shit about. So I couldn't tell you any heads or tails about those movies, other than after seeing the first one, I'm honestly looking forward to the rest of these movies.
Yeah. And going into it like I did, not knowing anything about it, it was standing alone on its own, as a good, fun movie to go see, and to learn more about it would be really good.
Now, did you go theaters and see it?
Yep.
I did not, because I thought the movie looked stupid. I really did. I was like, wow. The guy that plays Shazam, I'm still iffy about him, only because I hate, and I've grown to hate it because of Ryan Reynolds. I hate the adult, man-child, stupid humor now.
The snarky, yeah, yep.
The only reason I don't mind it in Shazam is because he's a kid still when he gets as Shazam. So I look past that, but I'm very over I'm kind of a sexy hunk, but I'm stupid. Like...
Yep.
Ghostbusters 2016 killed that whole thing of it even being clever, because that's all they did with Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
Oh, he's sexy. And that's all the women did in the movie. Oh my god, he's so sexy. And then he opens his mouth and they're like, well, he's still really cute. It's like, that's sexism right there. And blah, blah, blah. I mean, there was a part in the movie which was so stupid. He's got glasses on and he's doing an interview for this job as their secretary, right? And so pretend I have the glasses on. I have to take these off because I can't use real ones. So I have just regular glasses on, and I'm watching. I'm like, he doesn't have any lenses in those frames. Like, why? What the fuck does that? Doesn't make any sense. So then someone says something, and they go. Someone says something. They go, "You don't have lenses in those glasses, do you?" And he's like, "Oh no, I just wear them because I think I look kind of sexy with them on." Right? And it's like, oh, God, stupid. And then he says, it's all within the same time, like all these jokes. And then he says something else along the lines of like, I hate really loud noises. There's something stupid. And then like the fire alarm goes off, and now this is the whole, you only wrote these jokes in there to think, because you thought this was funny. Again, I have the glasses on with no fucking lenses. I hate loud noises. Beep, 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 beep. Oh, turn it off. That hurts my ears. That hurts my ears. You make him so stupid. And literally a joke that has no rhyme or reason in there just because you, the creator, the director, or whatever, thought it'll be funny to have him put his fingers over his eyes with no lenses in his glasses, with no reason to have glasses on in the first place, and then pretend like it hurts his ears.
That's like a Bobby Heenan joke. You don't have to yell at me. I'm not blind. You know?
Right.
That's literally what that is.
Which they're funny, little snippets, little quips.
Yep.
Quick, funny, little, like, wait a minute, hold on. But when you are relying on that to be your centerpiece of a joke...
That's your whole character arc, yeah.
It's stupid. It was stupid. I don't even remember what the fucking main topic was. what were we talking about?
Shazam, you were talking about the snarky character in Shazam.
Yeah, because of Ryan Reynolds, he really did, he has killed that character in any capacity for me of being...
And especially since he does it in every fucking movie.
That's what I'm saying. It's over fucking killed. Like, I don't care anymore. I don't care to see Ryan Reynolds movies anymore, honestly, because it's like, well, what's the movie? Because you're going to be the same dude. What are you just going to do in the movie while you're being that same guy?
Yep.
But that kind of wraps up for the Shazam stuff. Shazam! The next thing is just a quick snippet of Wonder Woman. The new Wonder Woman 84 trailer had come out. Obviously, all of this is fandom. I'm not going to keep saying that. I thought the first trailer actually looked pretty sweet.
Yep.
I honestly was like, oh, alright. I hated the fucking first movie. I didn't want to go see it, and I was dragged to see it, and it was terrible. And then... But the second one actually looks kind of fun, and we're going to have to credit it because of Thor Ragnarok's total vibe and feel. But what else are you going to do for a movie that's based in the 80s? I mean, Thor Ragnarok was not based in the 80s, so if anything, it makes more sense for Wonder Woman 84 to have that aesthetic feel.
But you have to compare to what came before.
You kind of do.
So, you know.
You do. There's Guillermo.
Yep.
Guillermo del Toro, who is...
He's a strange fucking dude.
He's a very strange individual. Clancy Brown, that is like my favorite actor in the whole fucking world. Oh man, I go ape shit when he's in anything. Speaking of Thor Ragnarok, he was Surtur. I have a Surtur Funko up there. So in hindsight, I have a fucking Clancy Brown Funko, which is awesome, because Clancy Brown is the shit.
He is a really good actor.
The first movie I ever saw him in when I was a kid was Pet Sematary 2. That movie terrified me horribly as a kid, but for whatever reason, he stuck with me as like, this guy's just cool. And then he's currently been in everything I love. I mean, he was in The Mandalorian with another huge fucking fan favorite of mine, Bill Burr. They were in the same episode together. He's in a lot of comic book things, like I said, Thor Ragnarok. For like 10 years, he did the voice of Lex Luthor in the Superman, the animated series, and when it crossed over into Batman. He was in the Flash TV show as one of the generals, and then he becomes the voice of Grodd, which was really cool. He's in a lot of stuff. Clancy Brown, I could go all day up on him. He's just top-notch, awesome dude. Like, I think he's an awesome fucking actor, and he's just got one of those voices. I hear it, and I'm like, oh, just take me away. I dig it. But the Wonder Woman 84 trailer, people are questioning, like, well, how's Steve Trevor back? How is this happening? I have no idea. Because the first trailer, they show the guy that plays the Mandalorian, I can't remember his name, Pedro Pascal.
Yep.
They show him in the first trailer, not just kind of looking like a bigwig. Really, just looking like a bigwig corporate dude. And then in this trailer, though, they show him with the presidential seal around him. So people are like, well, what? I'm thinking he has found something, because his whole gimmick is your dreams can come true. You wish it, you can have it. I'm thinking he finds something that grants wishes, essentially, and this guy just capitalizes on that. Because then that's going to lead into Barbara, I don't remember her last name, the chick that becomes Cheetah, Kirsten Wiig's character. You clearly can see her wanting to be desired, wanting her to be, to kind of have Wonder Woman's, not life, but the fame and the notoriety of, look at the respect you get, and, I get nothing, and blah, 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 blah. I see it going down that line. I see her going to this guy being like, I want what you're offering me.
Yep.
And granting her the wish of something, because she says she wants to be the apex predator, Randy Orton. You hear that? She says that she wants to be the apex predator, Orton. And then she becomes Cheetah at the end of the trailer. Now, I think it was a little too dark. I personally think when they're showing Cheetah, it's very dark, and you kind of have to know that character to know what you're looking at, essentially. To know, oh, that's Cheetah. You can watch that trailer and be like, well, okay, that's the villain, but I don't know what's going on there. Cheetah in the comics has always been a bright yellow. I know based off of some of the toys I've seen, she's going to be more of a cream yellow with some white and the leopard prints, which would be cool. I mean, cheetah prints, but people think, I personally think of a leopard when I see the spots, not so much a cheetah.
Yep.
But I think it's going to be cool. I think Cheetah will be a cool villain. They need to realize, though, you can't kill your villains off at the end of these movies. Not only if you plan on ever using them again, just that idea of, well, if we ever want to bring them back, we shouldn't kill them. Birds of Prey with Black Mask. I was so bummed out they killed Black Mask. I thought, he's a cool villain that I'd like to just see sprinkled throughout the remainder of these Batman-esque.
And when you blow him up completely, where do you go from there?
Maybe you could do because his thing is, his mask, they clearly didn't do that in the movie. He just had a fixation with masks or something in the movie. But his mask derives from when his father died. He cut or carved a mask out of his father's casket
and it
wore it, and then in the comics, I know this, Batman and him get into a scuffle. It burns and fuses to his face. Which, you think about it, really wood fusing to someone's face and then him still being able to move his mouth and talk. It's a comic book. It's a guy that dresses up like a fucking bat, for Christ's sakes. Come on. But anyways, I just think that's kind of shitty that they did. They killed him. You could have... It would have been cool at the end of that fucking movie if Batman just swooped in and just kind of beat them both up.
Yep.
Took Black Mask more than anything, and then Harley Quinn was just left to her own vices because she's not really a villain anymore.
Yeah.
They turn her into the vigilante, kind of anti-hero, whatever. But Black Mask was really fun. But to get rid of your villains, Marvel has a group of villains called the I'm on the spot now. I can't think of it. Let's just go right back to what I was going to say. DC has a group of villains called the Legion of Doom. There's also the Dark Justice League and shit like that, which are not villains, but whatever. But the Legion of Doom is comprised of not Black Mask, but villains that couldn't get the job done on their own, so they teamed up. Lex Luthor is in charge of them. You kind of see that a little bit. In the DCEU, when they showed Deathstroke, they showed Lex Luthor at the end of Batman vs. Superman. Lex Luthor even says, I think it's a time for our own Justice League or our own Legion or something like that, which hints at the Legion of Doom. Cheetah is one of the fucking founding members of that group. So, I mean, she really is pivotal to the future of what you may or may not do. Black Adam could absolutely be a character to replace somebody else in the Legion of Doom because they had a rearranging roster. But you had your founding members. Captain Cold was one of them. Cheetah's one. Lex Luthor's one. Solomon Grundy is one. I would love to see Solomon Grundy in something. there's a slew of characters. You could have Toyman. I don't see them doing it though. Sinestro from Green Lantern. He's a big enough villain. You could redo him. It's a cool faction, and I could see them doing, especially DC, since they've done Suicide Squad. They're doing the second one. They're taking chances on their villains more than Marvel is. I could see them doing a Legion of Doom style movie where it's not. Well, what's the difference between Suicide Squad and them? Suicide Squad is like, we don't care if you die. We just need you to go stop this because no one else really wants to. You're just kind of the expendables.
Yep.
Legion of Doom is, we are going to take over the world. We don't answer to anyone. We're going to kill everyone.
Yeah, it's a completely different animal.
Completely different animal.
Yep.
Absolutely. And I think that would be a lot of fun. I think that would be a cool movie to see because done right, it would be different. It would be something we have not seen. You absolutely do need, in that movie, you do need a couple heroes. You would need a few. My thing is, say the Legion of Doom has, I don't even know, taken out a couple of the heroes. Not killed them, but just incapacitated them. So now you have to, we only really want to use like 2 or 3. We'll use Batman, we'll use the Flash, and we'll use Aquaman. You really could limit yourself with those guys, but also show a contention of like why those 3 superheroes matter on a grand scale.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it'd just be fun. I want to go see Wonder Woman 84 when it is able to be seen next year, I'm assuming. On that note, I think that's it for the Wonder Woman. I do want to mention real quick, though, movies have opened up, just not in our fucking state, because Andrew Cuomo's a cunt, and he wants to say movie theaters are not essential enough to open, but yet
CM Punk.
Well, CM Punk, because he's a comic book.
He is.
I mean, when you say it's clobbering time, a wrestling fan knows who to think about when they say that, right? Yep. But you don't deem it essential enough to open up movie theaters, which will bring in business, get people. Yes, you're gonna get people out of the house. You're gonna get people into movie theaters, but you limit the. Right. You know what I'm saying?
You can socially distance in a movie theater if you really want to.
Absolutely. Is it going to piss people off that it's a limited showing? Sure. But you're going to piss more people off by saying no. But you're going to open up gyms? How the fuck is me going to a gym, sweating, breathing heavily, exerting energy to a mass group of people that are then going to go, okay, well, you're going to wipe it down, right? Okay, sure, fine, great, dandy. But I am breathing. It is now in the air. How is that deemed more essential than going to a movie theater when people are, like, cooped up having, like, Stockholm Syndrome? Now that movies can open, you're not even going to open up the theaters in our state to where people can go see these now said movies.
Yep.
What just came out? There's a handful of movies that just came out this weekend. The one I want to go see, New Mutants. I can't go see New Mutants unless I travel to Connecticut. Because there's not a single fucking theater in this state that is open.
And the drive-ins aren't playing them, they're playing old movies.
Which I'm not going to hate on that. I'm not going to hate on that at all. Because you know what? You do what you have to do to make your business. I'm not going to hate on that. I'm going to hate on the fact that he solely said movie theaters are not essential or more essential than what I've already opened, essentially.
Yep.
Like, get the fuck out of here, you jerk off. Someone needs to shoot him in the head. Like, that is cancer to the fullest, that guy is. And I don't give a fuck movie theater. Like, that's so stupid. A gym. You can go to a gym and sweat your ass off, breathe heavily, be in an area where other people are doing the same thing with a fucking airborne virus.
Yep.
But yet, you can't go to the movie theaters where, let's say we got 100 seats, we're only going to allow 30 people in. Right? A quarter of that.
And you know that movie theaters would stay open 24 hours if you'd let them.
They'd have more showings.
Yep.
And especially, honestly, right now, it's not like the movies, there's a shit ton of them out to be played. There's like maybe 3-4 movies.
Yep.
That opens up your fucking viewing showings now.
Yep.
All right, well, before we had, 7-8 movies that are out in theaters. We can only do 2 showings of each movie. Okay, I get that. But now, you've got 3 movies out, hypothetically. You can do what? 4 or 5 showings of that said movie? And not even that. Say you've got 6 theaters. There's 2 showings going on now of this, 2 showings of this, 2 showings of this, 2 showings of whatever. You have... It's just... I just think it's stupid. And yes, I'm griping because it's just movies. But that's kind of my life. I love movies. That's kind of like our whole platform.
And when you're opening other stuff up and certain things you're not, it does become ridiculous.
And I'm not going to say, like, the grocery stores have to be open. Are you going to get your fucking food, right? But a gym. Well, people have to work out. You can work out right at home. There's nothing saying that the YMCA has to be open. Most people that are physically fit, that actually go to the gym 24/7, I guarantee it, have some kind of workout regimen at home they can do.
Yep.
Well, I'm not going to get as shredded as if I don't go to the gym. Who gives a fuck? I don't give a fuck if you're shredded, you're cut, you're ripped, you're toned. It's just stupid. I don't know. Too much chew on this for a minute. Well, thanks for carrying that, Dave. You really added a lot right there. I was hoping you were gonna say some shit, but there's that dead silence we're famously known for. I want to skip that and go to this first. The Flash concept art that had come out. There was no footage or anything. I forget the guy that's directing it. Anthony Muccinetti, something like that. He directed the new It movies, which were pretty good, except I didn't care for the second one as much. But they were still pretty good. Kevin Conroy is on the screen. That is the voice of the Batman in any animated thing that's worth talking about. He is the voice of that character. But the Flash concept art, it showed a new, like, Barry Allen suit. Now, all this was animated. It was all drawn. None of it was, like, real stuff. But it showed Barry Allen in a newer suit, which was kind of more classic, which I don't understand the hard time of coming up with a suit for the Flash. Like, why does it have to be... I mean, I guess so. I mean, I'm thinking about it now. If someone said Batman vs. Superman's Flash was more tech-driven, it's kind of got to make sense. I mean, he's the Flash. Tech's got to make sense in him traveling through time, and it's got to withhold in the body armor, and okay, I guess that makes sense, but what's wrong with just like a latex suit that can withhold the G-force of him traveling through?
Yeah.
I don't know. The thing is, like, when you look at comics, you can deconstruct it and be like, well, that doesn't make sense, and then when you think about it, it's like, well, it's a fucking comic book.
Yeah, you don't
you don't have
to overthink it.
Neil Adams, he was at Boston Comic Con last year when I went, which was really cool. To see one of the creators of the Batman, essentially. I mean, he didn't create Batman, but some of his stories he really did. But yeah, it's just... You can break everything apart in a comic book.
Yep.
But then once you start doing that, it's like, why are you watching it in the first place?
Yep.
A guy that dresses up like a bat, and I'm supposed to believe he's the normal one? Like... That's very cool, Man Bat. That was the very first episode of the Batman the Animated Series was this. I think it was called On Leather Wings. If anybody can correct me, go ahead. But I think it was the very first episode of the animated series was called On Leather Wings. And it was the mythology of Batman in the city. People didn't know who he was yet. And then the emergence of a new villain called Man Bat, which people would get confused. Like, wait a minute, he is a giant man bat out there terrorizing. And that's like, no, that's just a monster as a bat. There is a Batman. It was very cool how they played that story. On Leather Wings. I want to believe that's the name of the episode. But the Batman the Animated Series, we'll talk about that for a second. It's fantastic. It is, I think it originally came out in 1993 or 92. It is almost 30 years old either way. Still holds up. Still withstands its 30-year legacy. I mean, this is the cartoon right here. I think this is beautifully drawn. Every episode was like a movie. It really did play out like a movie. They have movies that are based off of the animated show. That's just a fantastic cartoon.
Yep.
And then a big reveal was the not a reveal because we had known it was coming out, but the Zack Snyder cut of the Justice League trailer. They had, I say they, I'm just gonna all of those people working in the movies. They revealed that it was a real thing a handful of months ago.
Yep.
People lost their shit about it when it was confirmed that it was a real thing. I was always one of the naysayers and saying like I don't think it exists. Like it didn't make sense to me. Blah blah blah. Whatever. We've all seen the Joss Whedon Justice League. That's what I call it. The Justice League. Talon right there. That's cool that Talon's in the background. I'm going to be talking about that character here in a very, very short little bit of time. But the Justice League was not a great movie. It just, even if you are biased, it's just not a great movie at all. It's very just good. It was just made to be made. I don't know, whatever. It's not great. It's not a good movie. We actually watched it during one of our episodes here. But the new Snyder Cut Justice League looks fucking awesome.
Oh yeah, hell yeah it does.
I think it looks awesome. Now, the tone to me did feel similar, but better. What I mean by that is, like, obviously it still feels dark at times. It still feels like it's the same movie you've seen. It's just going to have new stuff in it. And I'm not saying that in, like, a negative way. That's a positive way to me. Because I like the dark stuff they did in Justice League. I didn't like all the animated, over-the-top, we have to be Marvel.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
My biggest thing, when I saw the trailer for the original Justice League and they had the big red sky and everything, I'm like, this looks awful. Like, if Marcadius was here, I guarantee he would remember me saying, it looked awful. I was so, like, this movie looks so fucking stupid. And I still think that to this day after I've seen it. I enjoy it for what it is, but I'm glad there's going to be a better interpretation coming out, so I don't have to be like, well, there's the Justice League one! But there was something I was specifically going to say. I don't remember the specific. But with the new... with the red sky. In the new trailer, they show basically that same shot, and it's a dark black sky, the way it should be.
Yep.
And I'm just like, that looks cool. That just looks cool to me.
And it's little things like that
that
can make a difference.
Steppenwolf, he looks way different. I mean, he's still aesthetically the same character. He's just rendered completely different. They show Doomsday right in the beginning, and now I know people were saying, well, the CGI doesn't look that great. Fair enough. I think it looks sweet, though. I think his CGI looks really like claymation almost, to where I'm cool with that. I'm totally down with that. I thought Darkseid looked badass as fucking hell. I think he looked so fucking cool. I'm going to compare him to Thanos because they are essentially the big brooding villain. They are the same essentially. I think Thanos looked phenomenal, but I really dug the way Darkseid looked, and maybe it was because he was in the opening shot, and it just, oh shit, they're trying to sell me on this. Very, very cool. I thought it was very, 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 very cool. There is a cool little Easter egg. I have to pull up my phone so I can show you, so you can be like. But there will be. I don't know much about the Justice, or not Justice League. I don't know much about the Snyder Cut, like what is or isn't in it. I do know there's rumor that Green Lantern might be in it, that Martian Manhunter might be in it. That's pretty much it. Darkseid is clearly going to be in it. it looks like it's going to be a fun fucking movie, and who knows what else could be in there. There could be so many surprises. Paul Dini, right there, it says right there, producer on the animated series, but this guy needs to get more credit in the world. You see Harley Quinn behind him. He is the sole creator of Harley Quinn.
Oh, nice.
He created Harley Quinn specifically for the Joker to have someone to play off of in the animated series, that she has become clearly almost or more iconic than the Joker himself.
Yeah.
I mean, she has her own fucking movie. I can literally count on one hand with 2 fingers how many villains have their own movies. Joker and Harley Quinn.
Yep.
I can't think of another fucking... Suicide Squad does not count.
That was just a buddy movie.
Well, they are villains with their own movie, but it wasn't called Deadshot and the Squad.
Right.
To where I'm like, well, it's more of a Deadshot movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, that's huge. I mean, whether or not you liked Harley Quinn or you like the Joker movie, whatever, you can't dismiss, she is a publicly... Not traded, Jesus Christ. But a publicly licensed character.
Yeah.
That... her and Joker in the same breath, and Joker is like the most iconic comic book character of all time.
I mean, you go to any Comic-Con, you're going to see like 15 Harley Quinns walking around.
That's for sure. That's for sure.
And more Harley Quinns than Jokers.
Yeah, absolutely. So I just kind of want to give Paul Dini a little recognition there. Jeff Johns, you're a shit. You need to fucking just go. You have no idea what you're doing. Write your Green Lantern comic books, and then just stay the fuck away from the movies. Because he's a fucking tool as well. Oh, my foot's stuck. I think it broke my ankle.
You're just hurting yourself all over the place.
Well, I moved my chair back, but my boots are on, and fuck this place. I think on that was it though for the what I know, but I'm not gonna be able to show. I mean, I can probably show the camera unless it blurs out. But I've been deconstructing this, not so much, but this trailer and the Batman trailer. I
watched that again. I love that. Even the second time around. It's just so fucking great.
I have found so many things in that trailer that I'm like, I don't even know where this movie could go anymore. And I showed Mark some of it, and he's like, that's really in the trailer? And I go, yes. Like, I swear to Christ, I found all these little things in this trailer that just piece shit together so weirdly and well. And I can't dismiss that that's what it is. Like, I just can't. Actually, first of all, look at this little setup I made. Doesn't that kind of look...
That's cool.
I had a picture of it on my phone, so that's what just made me think of it. Hold on, folks. I'll find her. Actually, no. Gross, real quick. No one else is going to see this, but this is Hulk Hogan's back.
Oh, shit. I know
you know what that is? That circular thing? He says that's a battery that fell out of place from where it's supposed to be that keeps shit going in his back or something. I'm like, what? You're a cyborg? You got a battery in you?
He's probably got like something supporting it and shit. Yeah.
That's
doing a leg drop for fucking 30 years.
Brother.
Yeah. That's crazy.
I was on the Howard Stern show and I was like, ew, I gotta take a picture of that. I was like, I'm fucked up, you know?
I mean, 7 back surgeries within like a couple years. It's crazy.
That's pretty gnarly. Oh, real quick. Actually, I forgot I had this. This goes into the Snyder Cut thing. I thought this was funny. We don't really cover this kind of the news like this, but I thought this was really fucking funny. I know you've never heard this name. I have heard of this name, Scott Mendelson. I don't know who he works for, but he's like a critic. Not a film critic, but reports on like all the news and information. So if like you go onto Google and you're like reading like a comic book movie or any kind of movie news, and at the end it shows you who's the editor or whatever, this guy, Scott Mendelson, he, to the pop culture world, is basically The wrestling guy, Wrestling Observer.
Oh, Dave Meltzer.
Dave Meltzer. He's the Dave Meltzer of this world, where it's like you're creditable, like, but you're a slimy piece of shit, and we know it.
Yeah.
But you're still credible. So okay, now before the Snyder Cut, they released the trailer. It got leaked, right? Now I didn't watch it when it was leaked. I wanted to watch like the official one, right? So Scott Mendelson watched the trailer and then posted his like reaction to it. So this is what he said. So that trailer for the Snyder Cut of Justice League looks like the same movie. Lots of deleted scenes from the marketing campaign, but otherwise it looks like alternate takes of existing scenes. Okay, that's kind of like, I didn't think so. I thought like, okay, it's got the tone, but it doesn't look like the same movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all dark and brooding and badass. So Zack Snyder, the guy himself, tweeted to him and said this. I think this is ballsy and really badass. You said you enjoyed the theatrical cut of Justice League, like you enjoy your Saturday morning cartoons. Well, this is made for grown-ups, so you're not the demographic. Also, cool of you to comment on a leaked teaser at Scott Mendelson. Get him.
Yep.
Like, get him. Like, yeah. Like, one, you're a critic, and you're going to react to a movie that or teaser that got leaked. Your credibility now is shit. Like, that's a low thing to do. Like, I personally think that is, because you know they're anticipating the release of it. It's not like it got leaked and no one knew it was going to get released. They planned on doing this. So for you to go out of your way and promote it, essentially, the leaked one, that's dirty.
And then shit on it at the same time.
That's like, no offense to Tony Schiavone because it was WCW, but that's like reading your competitors.
Oh, yeah, the results.
Yeah.
Yep.
I get it's business, but it's at some point you got to be like, come on, that's
just to get attention on yourself at that point.
And now you got the wrong type of attention because the dude that's running the show just called you out, and 100 out of 100 people are probably going to be like, well, I'm on Zack Snyder's side.
I want to see this Snyder Cut. I don't give a fuck what you think.
Right, and I love that he's like, you're not the demographic because this is for grown-ups.
Yep. And that's the perfect kind of response, too, when somebody's being, shitty
tool.
like that. Yep.
Yeah. But there was this. Okay, now I took this thumbnail. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Now, it's hard to see, but in this shot, actually, do I have a better picture of it or no? No, I don't. I should have taken a couple different shots. But, in this image here, I'm going to try to cover this up so you can't see it. In this image here, that's the Doomsday. There we go. The Doomsday Dark Side dream that Bruce Wayne has.
Yep.
Okay. This is so cool. And I didn't know this. I had to look this up. But in that shot, they show a Justice League emblem. There's Aquaman's trident is kind of laying there in the debris, and then this floats by. What does that look like?
Oh, it looks like one of the Joker cards. That's fucking cool.
So why would that float by in the Justice League trailer?
Right.
So I had to look into that. I'm like, what's the story behind that? Apparently, this would have been kind of badass. Apparently, when the original Suicide Squad was being made, Steppenwolf was supposed to be in that. The villain from Justice League was supposed to be in that. I don't know in Gotham where about, but he comes across the Joker, and the Joker's like, "Hey, look, I'll help whatever you need. Don't kill me."
He just wants to fuck shit up.
Right.
So.
He doesn't want to die because he knows, like, all right, I could die because this is a god.
Yeah.
Like, this is not Batman and just crime. Like, I got to really figure this shit out.
Yeah.
So he was supposed to show up in Suicide Squad and then form a deal with Steppenwolf. Then that scene right there is supposed to be the future, and everything is destroyed. So that scene was supposed to, and we could possibly see it in this version, supposed to be a longer scene of Steppenwolf with Darkseid and the Joker standing there with Darkseid telling him, hey, here's one of those mother boxes. Let me control Gotham.
Right.
And at that point, he gets referred to, instead of the Clown Prince of Crime, Darkseid refers to him as the Clown King of Crime. Now, why that had to be in either movie, I have no clue. But clearly they were going to run with Jared Leto's Joker.
Yeah.
So, again, on that breath, if that's the movie company doing it, why did you cut him out of the Suicide Squad movie so much?
Yeah.
If you had an anticipation on using him like that. Weird. But could you imagine, like, seeing Joker in the Justice League and, like, what a movie that would be.
Yeah.
And the fact, though, that legitimately, that card floats by, that's just, whether or not he's in the movie, that's cool to know that there's an Easter egg of the Joker in the Justice League movie.
Yeah, you're melding it all together and making it mean something. That's really
very cool. And when I saw that, I was like, wait a minute, what? Why is this? That's really all I have on that. For the Justice League, it does. Did I say this already? When it comes out next year, it'll be 4. I know Mark said this on the last episode, but it'll be 4 one-hour episodes. I don't know if that's going to be day by day by day by day, week by week. I haven't the slightest idea. I'm also very curious to see how, essentially, instead of making it a movie, you're going to make it a TV show.
Right.
If it's going to be episodic, like, how are you going to end each segment? Or, not segment, but episode. Like, you're just going to, alright, well, we know at this point Bruce Wayne's going to have some dialogue and nothing really big is going to happen, so we'll just end it right there. Are you going to end it kind of like how Lord of the Rings ends it, where it's like, there's still more?
It's a cliffhanger, but not really a cliffhanger. Like,
because it's got to be enough. And go with me. It's got to be enough if they go with a cliffhanger to be like, but I've already seen this.
Right. There's got to be some substance to it.
I'm very curious to see how this movie. It's a movie, but to see how it all.
And it's gotten so much hype, you really want to see it live up to.
And I hope it does.
Yeah,
I honestly do, because all of this DC stuff, all these new movies or whatever, this is a reemergence or a new breath in the DCEU. Marvel, I absolutely think. I don't think they're shaking in their boots. But I absolutely believe they paid very close attention to all of this.
Yeah. You'd be stupid not to. You can't rest on your laurels at that point.
Right, you can't. Because now that you've seen certain things, it's like, shit, we might have to turn it up a notch in a different direction, just so we don't keep getting that, well, this is all they do.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm very, 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 very curious and excited, and it's been a while since we've had not just movie news, but like fun, interesting movie news like this, to where it's like, well, there is this to talk about. Like, no, this is stuff I personally love to talk about. I can't wait to start getting back into the form and fashion of all this crap again. But go ahead.
And knowing that they have the time, because of all this, to do things and to change things and, make it special.
Right. Put the effort into it. Just because you've had the last 5 months of not being able to put a movie out doesn't mean you shouldn't be working on it.
Yep.
I totally agree. I do. I absolutely agree. Now, I have the last 2 things I'm going to leave for the end are going to be the Suicide Squad movie, because there's a shit ton of that I have here. And then the Batman. The Batman I am leaving for the end, because that's like the best way to end this podcast. So what I'm going to do right now is talk about the 2 video games. The 2 video games, I feel like there was something else that was announced, but I don't think there was. But the 2 video games that were specifically announced, one is Gotham Knights. No, it is not. I see so many fucking people putting Batman Gotham Knights. It is not Batman Gotham Knights. It's straight Gotham Knights. The fucking... Jesus Christ, what am I trying to say? Montreal... Rocksteady Montreal, there we go. Those are the ones that are doing Gotham Knights, which... they've come right out and said, this is not even connected to the Batman games. Which kind of bummed me out. And it confused me. Because at the end of Arkham City, or not Arkham City, spoiler alert for anyone that's never beaten him or played him, but the end of Arkham Knight, which is the third game in the trilogy, Batman's identity is revealed to Gotham City. He ends up putting everybody away in jail and prison. The news is right outside of his house. He comes in on his Batwing, gets out of the Batwing, he's completely unmasked, being filmed, goes to the Wayne Manor. Alfred's like, are you sure you want to do this? Batman's like, or Bruce Wayne at this point, he's like, yeah, this is what we have to do. And then seconds later, the fucking house just blows up. Just boom, 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 boom. And then you hear the news reports of, Wayne Manor just blew up, Bruce Wayne was inside, confirmed dead, blah, blah, blah. And then you hear Commissioner Gordon narrating it, and saying, like, this was the day that the Batman died, and saying how everybody has to move on past these events, things will never be the same, his legacy, blah, 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 blah. So, you end that story with Batman dying.
Yep.
Which, he's not really dead, because there's some more to it. They basically do a Dark Knight Rises ending.
Right.
Where
you think he's dead, but he's not. Right.
Because they show, like, at the end of it, they show a husband and a wife looking like Bruce Wayne's parents, walking into an alley with a kid. These guys are mugging them, and then you see someone standing on a rooftop, and they're like, Dad, you hear Batman's dead? This ain't scaring us. And then you see Batman literally smoke engulf him. His eyes turn red. He starts to lift up off the roof of the building, and then just fucking the wings go out. Everything around him completely explodes and then turns into fire, and you just see like a silhouette of this demonic bat flying down in, and then you just kind of fly into the bat symbol, and that was the end of it. Which, the more I've taken from that, I understand it's not Bruce Wayne being Batman anymore. He's done being Batman. In that game, his archenemy in the game is he's fighting the Scarecrow. I am taking it as he took Scarecrow's fear toxin, and instead of now going out fighting crime, he can use that toxin on criminals. Water the toxin down, because in the game it makes you become completely insane, but water it down to where now people are hallucinating, seeing you as Batman instead of you
creating that illusion that you're
which you've always been, the illusion of fear.
Yep.
Which is a cool twist of thinking like Batman's using like his villain's fucking gadgets on the crime. I don't know if that's true or not, but I can't imagine at the end of that game for some reason Batman became a fucking flying demon. Like, what the fuck was that? Like, that's so unrealistic.
Yep.
Nothing like that happens in the game. So,
and in the movies, you see, like, when they are hallucinating with Batman, he becomes
a
demonic.
Demon. Right, exactly.
So that makes sense.
It
totally
makes
sense.
A lot of sense.
Yep.
But I thought that was pretty sweet. But with the Gotham Knights, and they open it up by saying, Bruce Wayne, and I should have put the pieces together, because here we go. In Gotham Knights, Bruce Wayne opens it up by saying, if you're watching this, I'm dead.
Yep.
He says Commissioner Gordon's dead. Which, when we go back to the Gotham series, or the Arkham series, Commissioner Gordon clearly can't be dead if he's the one narrating Batman's death. He couldn't have died first. So that should have been a red flag to me, but I just was so excited. And then the second thing that should have been a red flag was when they're narrating the beginning of it and saying a building has exploded, an unidentified body is at the scene. Okay, at the end of the Arkham series, the news is right outside of Wayne Manor, so why would it just be an anonymous building that blew up? They would know who died inside. It was Bruce Wayne.
Yep.
Those pieces should have clicked for me, but it just didn't. I got super fucking excited over it.
I saw this. I saw it. It looks badass. It looks like a really good game.
It looks exactly like the Arkham series, though. I mean, it really does. It looks exactly the graphics, the fighting engine, all of it. The fact that I don't have any information on it, other than it's two player storyline, drop in co-op, which I think is genius. There's different all the Batman games previously. The first one was on Arkham Asylum, which was just a small linear island.
Yep.
But still big enough for you to be like, oh, this is really, really cool. The second game was a part of Gotham City that was all closed off, which was bigger than the first game, but not as big as where they eventually go. And you're like, it's satisfying. Then Arkham Knight is 3 giant fucking boroughs of Gotham City. There is Gotham City, the business area, which has like all the skyscrapers, and it's just that type of district. There's another one, if you've seen the Batman Dark Knight trilogy, the boroughs, or the Narrows. The Narrows, which kind of are like the dirty, grimy, like you don't want to go there.
The ghetto, yeah.
Yeah, they have that area, and then they have another one which is like the industrial area where there's like construction, there's other like ginormous fucking skyscrapers.
Is that where like Ace Chemicals is and shit?
No, Ace Chemicals is like is by the Narrows.
Okay.
But it's its own. Ace Chemicals itself is its own island.
Oh, that's cool.
It's really fucking badass because when you see that big map, at first I'm like, oh my god, this map is huge. But by the end of it, when you fully upgrade Batman's suit, you could literally be here and glide all the way across from the farthest, from point to point of the map, continuously glide without ever stopping. It's just so massive, and Mark and I were talking about it because in the distance of this game, you can see Arkham Asylum from the first game in the distance. You can see Arkham City from the second game off in the distance, which I was like, oh, that's cool that even though you can't access them, they're there to let you know, like, these are the stages of this universe. I glitched it. I fucking figured out how to glitch it to where I can swoop out as far as the invisible wall that they have for a barrier will let you go. If you go out a certain length, instead of gliding out and them turning you around because once you hit the wall, if you glide out there, it defaults, turns you back around, and then re-glides you back to the city. But if you get right out to where this invisible wall is and you drop, instead of glide, but just drop straight into the water, Batman, but it has to be a certain part of the map. Batman they'll show him climbing up the bridge like he normally would. You climb up anything. But you are now on the opposite side of that invisible wall.
Oh, that's cool.
So I have it saved on my Xbox videos of me gliding all around the negative space that you're not supposed to go into. Dave, I don't think it's on my phone. Why this would be in the game, I have no idea. Picture Grand Theft Auto, right?
Yep.
You're on like the coast of Grand Theft Auto. And in the distance you see another city, but you know it's just rendered to look like
for aesthetic. Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So now I'm in that gliding. Now you can't step on anything because there's no actual renderation. It's just the way it looks. Gliding through it all, I come across and now you can't see this from the game. So why it would be in there, I have no idea. A giant fucking football stadium. I mean,
yeah,
giant fucking football stadium, and I'm like, you can't see that from the game. Like,
why is that here?
Someone must have put that in there to just be like, I like football, I'm gonna put this in here. So random, but I was also able to glide to the old Arkham City that was in the old game. Now, it looks like shit when you get up close. It looks like an N64 game.
Right.
But you can still, like, oh shit, there's that building! Like, that's cool that they actually put this in here.
That's sweet.
And then, Arkham Asylum is so fucking far away. Just kept gliding, and I eventually got to Arkham Asylum. And I'm like, this is so badass, like that. Even though it's a glitch, you can't really access anything, that you could still go here, though, because if you're a fan of those games, that's something you want to do. You want to be able to be like, I just want to go there. Let me do that.
You want the connectivity to the other games.
It's so cool. And then it makes you... It gives me not reason to play it because, like, oh, you're just going to fly around like a negative area. No. But if I wanted to, I could.
Yep.
It's cool as fuck.
That's that's one of the fun things about the Grand Theft Auto games. You don't have to do it, but it's fun that you know you can.
Yeah. When I found out for the Grand Theft Auto 5, because it's not really, it's lackluster, honestly, but there are some cool Easter eggs in it. But so I Googled them. I'm like, what are some cool Easter eggs in GTA 5? Because I'm done driving around the city doing nothing. And then there's spaceships up in the sky. There's a couple spaceships in the ocean. And I'm like, well, you can't access them, but I'm gonna go look for them anyways.
Yep.
And it's pretty sweet. I mean, when you're literally in the submarine and you see a spaceship embedded in the ground, and you're like, oh, that's kind of cool. I wish there was more to it.
Right, that was fun with Vice City having the Scarface part, in the hotel,
which totally had to be there. Oh shit! We gotta pause this right here. We're gonna pause this right here because that's perfect. Perfect. I'll get straight through the rest of these games so we can get right into what this is. this is something I also found in the Suicide Squad trailer, dude. I'm not even making this up. So that Gotham Knights looks fucking awesome. It really does.
It does.
And another reason why I thought it was connected is because at the end of Arkham Knight, Batgirl, Robin, Nightwing, and the Red Hood character are all essentially prominent figures. But so you get to play as all four of them in this game. Why wouldn't I not think it's connected? But it's not. Whatever. It looks fucking sweet.
It does. It really, really does.
I am so excited. Not just because of this game, but because it comes out next year. A lot of this shit, first time ever hearing about it, comes out within a year. Which is oh wow, I don't have to wait long. This game comes out next year, and it's going to be for the Xbox One, which fucking excites me. So it's not a next gen.
You don't have to wait for that.
I don't have to wait for this, because that's a game where I'm like, I'm getting that. Day one, I'm going to go out and get you. I mean, Mr. Freeze looks fucking sweet.
Yep.
He's the only villain that I saw in the trailer. I didn't break these trailers down and look at them, because when it comes to the video game, I want to experience that. When it's a movie, like the Joker's playing card, it's a quick snip.
Yep.
It's not like you're going to experience that through the whole movie. You're just going to see that quick. So a breakdown of certain things in trailers is okay. But a game? No.
Yeah, you want to get the full experience.
Full experience. Yeah. Because I don't know in the game, if I break something down and I look at that may or may not affect what I do later on in that game. And I don't want to know that.
Yeah.
Breaking down a trailer, though, you speculate. And 9 times out of 10, you're not going to be like, well, I'm Batman, and I'm going to be the one that figures this out. It's a different medium.
Yep.
But I cannot wait for that game. And look, I literally can't wait for Gotham Knights. That's going to be so fucking cool. Actually, Gotham Knights, that's the one where they show the Court of Owls.
Yep. At
the end of the trailer, which is really cool. Because the Court of Owls, they're within the last 10 years probably new to the Batman comics, the mythos. I say underground, but they are. They're an underground organization that has been running Gotham's crime and anything and everything. They're the ones. Nobody knows they exist except for a niche group of people. I will be talking about the Court of Owls when we get to the Batman, because there is a lot to discuss with that. So I will cut that game off right there. I can't wait for that. The second game is Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League, or Kill the Justice League, whatever one you want to call it. I think that looks fucking awesome.
Yep. And I know that wasn't gameplay, but it just looked so
sick.
Fucking badass.
This game, on the other hand, is a direct continuation of the Arkham Knight series, which I thought was weird. Because Rocksteady Montreal created Batman Arkham Origins, the trailer you saw, which it's connected to the 3 trilogy, but it's not essentially saying yes, but it's loosely connected. That was Montreal Rocksteady. Montreal Rocksteady hinted in that game the Suicide Squad. Rocksteady Montreal is not the one doing the Suicide Squad game, which I thought was weird. Rocksteady Original, that's not their name, but it's Rocksteady, the original company. They did the original 3 trilogies. Now they're the ones doing the Suicide Squad game. So it's like they flipped,
right?
Which is weird as fuck and confusing to this fellow. But this Suicide Squad game connects to the Arkhamverse, which I'm totally cool with that, because it's got Tara Strong still being the voice of Harley Quinn, so there's that connective tissue. Captain Boomerang has never been in the Arkhamverse. This is except for the movie that connects, which is the same voice actor in that, which is really cool. Deadshot, this Deadshot in this game cannot be Floyd Lawton because you've already portrayed him 3 times over as being white in the previous Arkham games that you are saying it is now connected to.
Yep.
My thing, if you want to avoid people being like, why'd you change him to being white? Say that Floyd Lawton, the original, died in another Suicide Squad mission. And now this guy is not Floyd Lawton, but his code name is Deadshot. Because he's completely different from the Deadshot I know. I've never seen Deadshot to use a backpack, flamethrower, jetpack, ever.
Like a Mandalorian.
Right. I never have seen that, so let this be a new fucking person. And that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying don't whitewash, don't blackwash, don't this, whatever. This is your time to create a new character.
Yep.
This is the time to do that, but yet let Deadshot be a code name. And I'm okay with that. Because it's not like, oh, Harley Quinn, we're going to make her black and her code name is Harley Quinn.
Yeah, you just pick somebody to designate as Deadshot.
Right.
Yep.
Which you could do that.
Yep.
Go ahead and do that. I'm not gonna gripe on it. I'll totally buy into that. King Shark? Yes. Because King Shark was in that Batman Arkhamverse Arkham Asylum movie that's based on the games. And I thought he was way more like menacing in that game. Or that movie, because he had like body armor on, and they had to put like a muzzle over him because he would just eat anybody. This, they're clearly going to make him kind of comedic, which is okay with me. He just looks fucking. He looks like a street shark.
Yep.
And I can't wait. I hope I get to play as him and run around with a Gatling gun. Like, oh my god, this game looks so badass. And then even using that Outcast, I think that's who that was playing the song.
Yep.
I was at first, I'm like, I don't know, that's kind of like too pop for this, but then like I watched the trailer a few times, I'm like, this is like perfect.
Yeah.
This is so badass. And then when they reveal, Superman at the end of it and shit like that, killing the guys, and you knew they were going to be the villain or whatever, but I think the Justice League are all, obviously, I think a lot of people can assume this, are going to be brainwashed or mind controlled by Brainiac. Which is really cool to see Brainiac in the Arkhamverse. To see Metropolis, I would like to see you go to Metropolis. That's where you fight Superman. You go to Central City. That's where you fight the Flash. You go to Star City. That's where you fight Green Arrow. You go to Gotham. That's where you got to fight Batman. Like make the worlds a level essentially, I guess, or have a big open world. Because this game is strictly next gen. I will not be able to get this unless I buy a PS. Or, what the fuck are they even calling the new Xbox? Xbox Series X? That's the stupidest fucking... Xbox. Xbox 2. Xbox 3. Xbox 4. That's just... When I have to say I got an Xbox One, I feel like the people that don't know what I'm saying...
You think you original Xbox.
Or like, you got one Xbox. That's cool,
right.
Dude. Like, PS5, PS4, PS3, PS2, PS1, PlayStation...
Yep.
God, it's fucking simple, man.
It's like Microsoft has to make it difficult on themselves.
They have to be like, you know what? Let's just come up with stupid words and fucking, I don't know. That we are coming up to an hour and 40 minutes, and we haven't even gotten to the two fucking big kahunas. I'm gonna blow through the Suicide Squad one though, only because all I really have are just the characters and just some
and John Cena being in it,
which I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Yep.
But that game, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, I'm very interested to see who the other Suicide Squad members will be, who will die off, blah, 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 all of that stuff. That'll be a really fun game, but the Gotham Knights is the one I cannot fucking wait for. Which will go from the Suicide Squad, segue right into the movie, which is pretty freaking fun competition if you kind of look at the movie and then the game. Because I think the game looks a little bit more fun.
Yeah.
I think the game just looks... I mean, you got Harley Quinn, game to movie. Captain Boomerang, game to movie. Deadshot, game to first movie. King Shark, movie to game? Like, that's not a coincidence that you both just picked King Shark. There's got to be... They've got to come out around the same time, is my guess.
It's a great inter-promotional thing to do. Totally.
And then you get people that want to see the movie that like some of those characters in the game, like, well, fuck, I want to go play this King Shark and eat somebody now.
Yep.
I don't know if you'll be able to do that in the game, but it'd be cool if you could. But the movie, Suicide Squad, The Suicide Squad. We talked a little bit about it on the last podcast, which will be the next podcast. So we kind of predicted the future. I don't know.
We went 88 miles an hour.
We didn't need roads either, folks, because when we were watching us, we're off the rails. But it was they had a sneak peek, and then they had a character reveal or whatever you want to call it. Both very, very cool. James Gunn said some very polarizing things of best movie I've ever made. Fuck Guardians of the Galaxy. They're all cunts. He didn't say it exactly like that,
but you get that vibe.
When you read into how he said it, you're like, huh, are you really coming back for Guardians 3 now? Which we know he is. But this movie looks pretty fun. I mean, I didn't love the first one, so I'm not going to love this one, but I'm going to give it a chance. But I'll give a quick rundown of all the characters that have been laid out for us. Here we go. The returning characters are Viola Davis, who was Amanda Waller. There's Margot Robbie, who was Harley Quinn. Joel Kinnaman is returning as Rick Flag, and Jai Courtney is returning as Captain Boomerang, which is my personal favorite. Yep. Coming around this time is Michael Rooker as Savant. Now, I'm not going to go through, tell you who these these villains are, because I don't know most of them. I know some of them. I can give a quick. But other than that, most of them I really haven't the slightest idea. Savant, I know he's like a tech guy. That's all I really got. Michael Rooker's playing him. Idris Elba was rumored to be playing Deadshot, but they're not going to have him do that because in case Will Smith ever wants to come back and play Deadshot, which I think is cool. He's going to be playing the character called Bloodsport, which he's one of the characters I know a little bit about. I think he's the only, or he was the first villain that used kryptonite as a modern weapon against Superman, and he constructed bullets out of kryptonite and shot Superman in the chest with it, leaving him completely
Which actually you saw on one of the...
Did they show that snippet? Yep. There you go. He looks very different from the movie to the comic, very different. Where did I leave off?
Idris Elba.
I can't pronounce her name. Mei Ling Ning? I don't know how you pronounce the last name when it's only the letter N and G. I don't have no idea how to pronounce that. But she's playing Mongal. I know nothing of her other than that she is the sister to Mongol, which Mongol is just one of Superman's enemies. He's just a big demonic space alien. I don't know who Mongal is. Clearly they're going for diversity with the women, but I think it's cool that she's in this only for the sole fact of it is showing you that there are not just metahumans for one, not just superheroes for two, and not just aliens from Krypton. I don't know where they're from, but it's showing you that there's aliens out there in other capacities.
Totally expanding it.
Which, I mean, you do see that with the Justice League, obviously Steppenwolf, but it just it does. It expands a wee bit more. Alice Braga, I think that's her name. She's playing Sol Sovia, which is another gender swapped character. I don't understand that. You have a lot of gender swapped characters in this, which to me, that's an agenda. That's just garbage bullshit. I mean, don't cast a male character. If you're going to do Sol Soria, don't cast a female character and make that female instead of now you had a guy and you're changing it into a woman. Yeah. I just know that he has cybernetic hands which allow him to do all sorts of different things. But Nathan Fillion, who is a huge friend of what's his face there, James Gunn, is going to play TDK. I have no idea who that is. Mark and I, we tried looking up a lot of these people and we couldn't find them. TDK, all I can think of is the Dark Knight. I know that's not it, but TDK. And in his little picture they show him missing his forearms look like they come off. Some of the research on the behind the scenes, it did show something really quick of him missing his arms. So maybe he's can detach his arms and beat you with that. I have no idea. I don't know. Flula Borg. Took me a minute to figure his name out. I've seen him in some stuff, but not a lot. He's playing the character Javelin, which is the villain to the fucking Green Lantern. I don't understand how a character that only uses a javelin is threatening to a guy that uses a ring that can create anything.
Right.
I don't know. I can't pronounce his last name. David Dasmalkin? I don't know. He's in Ant-Man. You know the Three Stooges? You got Louis, T.I., and then the other guy?
Yeah.
He's the other guy.
Okay.
Playing Polka Dot Man, which I think is kind of fun because that's a classic Batman villain. But my biggest gripe is this fucking guy needs to be blacklisted from superhero movies and shows. This fucking dude is in every he's in The Dark Knight, he's in this, he's in Gotham, he's in both Ant-Man and the Wasp movies. Like, he's too recognizable in the face for me to believe he's a character.
Yeah.
I'm sick of seeing this guy in every fucking, like, superhero movie. I really am. Like, give him prosthetics. Make him look like, oh, okay, that's that guy. Like, I'm sick of seeing his face. And for whatever reason, Marcadius, him and I, we had this conversation the last time you were here, after you left. He did not understand what I was trying to say. He's like, what do you mean? You just... How did he say it? He didn't understand what I meant by, this guy is too recognizable for me to believe. Every time I see him in something, it's like, oh, there's that guy.
Nope. He's turned into that guy.
Yeah, like, yep. I want to watch a movie and be like, oh shit, I know I'm watching a Matt Damon movie, or I'm watching Thor Ragnarok. I didn't know Matt Damon, like, oh fuck, Matt Damon's in this, like, but yeah, he's not looking like Matt Damon.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm just so over this guy's fucking face and seeing it everywhere to a capacity of like, please put prosthetics on him.
Yeah, because it never changes. He's the same fucking thing every time.
And it's annoying. I find it very annoying. Peter Capaldi, I didn't know this. People that are big Doctor Who fans probably are getting a kick out of this. He was like the most recent Doctor Who. He's playing the Thinker, which I think is pretty sweet because the Thinker was, I think, in season 6 of The Flash, the main villain. I don't know too much of his backstory other than just mass capacity for intelligence. That's all I really know about him. Pete Davidson, I don't really know that guy in anything other than the SNL shit. He's playing Blackguard. I don't know anything about that character. There is King Shark in it. I was going to write down the guy that's doing the mocap for him. I don't remember his name. I don't know if he's doing the voice of him. I sure as fuck hope it's not Taika Waititi playing the voice of King Shark, because then it's just going to be another Korg.
Yep.
Oh, hey, I'm a big shark. I'm going to eat you. Is that okay? Oh, no, I can't eat you. Well, I'm going to. No, I don't want that. I want... Because clearly King Shark in the video game is going to be kind of comedic in a way.
Yeah.
Or at least the Drax comedic where he has no... Everything just goes over his head.
No awareness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So there's that. Sean Gunn is playing another CGI weasel. Yep. Like, I don't care. I'm going to harp on James Gunn. Your credit is one of the best, but you got to stop. Relying on your friends, relying on the things, change it up a bit. I know there's the fan base out there that loves that shit, but the fucking black and white, or not black and white, but that trick is going to become black and white where it's boring.
Yep. Yeah.
Like, oh, James Gunn's playing another fucking CGI weasel character. We played Rocket. Well, he's going to be coming back for Guardians, playing Rocket again. Like, I'm sorry your brother's a hideous-looking fucking twat that can't act worth shit to where he can't get a real fucking role. Like...
It's not like Tarantino where the people he bring in actually have something.
Right, and they're classic actors. Like, and a weasel character, I don't care. John Cena, though, as Peacemaker? Sure. I don't think John Cena's a douchebag in real life, but I know he will play a douchebag to the fucking fullest tilt to where I'm like, I hate this motherfucker, and that's why.
Yep.
I'm very on board for Cena, and I kind of hope he doesn't die. Like, I hope he's not one of the quick ones off.
Right.
Because for whatever reason, his character looked fun. His character just looked fun.
That's like Jim Carrey's character in Kick-Ass.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I didn't want that dude to die. That's such an awesome character.
Yeah, he was a lot of fun. Jim Carrey's character in Kick-Ass, he's probably the best part. What does he say to the guy? He's like, he's biting your balls, or something like that to the dog. I'm like, oh my god, I loved it. What was it? Colonel Stars and Stripes?
Something like that, yeah.
Something along those lines. Which is a stupid name, but it's actually kind of badass.
Yep.
Colonel Stars and Stripes. He walks around like an axe handle with like it taped up. So cool, man. So I hate. We've said this before. I hate though that he harps on that movie of it being too violent. What did you think you were filming when you were beating people up?
Yeah.
You're in the fucking.
You're sticking a dog on people's balls. What do you think you're doing?
My thing is like say I'm Jim Carrey, right? And you're the director of both Kick-Ass movies, and you're like, hey, Jim, I want to cast you for my second, Kick-Ass movie. What do you think? Here's the rundown. And if I say yes, me as an actor, I should be like, let me go back and watch the first one.
Yeah.
Not so much because I want to see what it's about, but I need to see what I need to do. That decoder sucks. It shuts off when you're not using it. But I'll get back to this part. Because actually that's what I want to talk about. You saw the what they were just talking about in the DC villain thing we're watching is they're talking about all the villains or whatever, and one of them is Starro. Starro. And it's a living organism. It's a starfish. It really is. From another planet, from outer space, that latches onto your face like a face hugger, if you will, from aliens. Doesn't put an alien in your body, but it brainwashes you. And Starro is the main hub of this central intelligence, so to speak.
Kind of like Independence Day, where it had the mothership kind of thing.
Exactly. I hope it starts right off where it left off, because I hate it. Yes, okay. So you can see, right? See if they show it a little bit more. That was all they were going to show you. But the starfish, mind control, right? I did not take screenshots of this, and I did not see this. I saw this on another user's channel. But this movie, they show in one shot a big tower in the middle of this giant battlefield, and then the ocean.
Yep.
On the other side of it. So I have written down here, it's on the coast for a reason. Now, what this guy found, I'm trying to remember his name. Eric. I'm going to give him credit. Eric Voss on New Rock Stars on YouTube. Check them out. They got a lot of cool videos. But Eric Voss on New Rock Stars, they did a video of this, and in the background of 3 specific shots, you see bright pink starfishes on people's faces. Now, you have to zoom in on them. You have to freeze frame it. You really have to do your research. But that's cool. If the whole fucking thing is, and here's my thought, there is a military base on the coast. They have a giant fucking alien fucking starfish in this base, right? Now, there's 2 factions fighting head-to-head in this trailer. There's some Guatemalan dude and another Guatemalan-looking dude. I'm only saying that because they look Eastern European or whatever. And this is only speculation. One guy's name is Luna, which is Spanish for the moon, which is in space, which is to deal with these star things. And I'm really connecting dots. But you really do see these weird pink starfish-esque looking things on these people's faces, and that would be a right up James Gunn's alley of doing. Well, yeah, it looks like a war movie, but there's a giant pink fucking starfish with mind control in it. Sign me up. Yep. Sign me up, bud. Yeah. That's all I've got on that. I think that's really cool, though. It'll be interesting to see when that all kind of unfolds and what's the truth behind all that. I don't really have anything else on that for the Suicide Squad. We will now talk about the Batman. First and foremost, we talked about it a little bit, but last time you were here, what are your overall thoughts on this trailer for the Batman?
I like the way it looks. I like the vibe of it.
Because I'm going to use Starburst.
The ferocity that he was beating that one guy down with. Like, it... Mm-hmm. Judging from what you've seen in the past, like, it seems like this Batman loses control more than previous incarnations.
It is. They did confirm that it is Batman in his second year.
Okay.
So he's still new to the controlling his rage.
Yep.
Which I love that. I think that's great. I think that's a cool... I mean, I say they've never done it before, but they did kind of do it in the arc, or the Batman Begins, because you have Liam Neeson's Ra's al Ghul telling him you need to control your... So you subtly get it, but I think to physically see it is going to change people's perspective of,
because like, as soon as he knocked the guy down, he was down.
And then
like,
he just got right on him again.
He just kept on hitting him.
Exactly. You know? Which I have to say, because in that scene, a lot of people were expecting him to be like, I am Batman, right? Penguin right here shoots. Boom! That's Arkham City. That's the best. That is... That's the video right there for Arkham Origins. That looks so fucking real when it first came out. I was like, this needs to be a movie. That right there. I love the way this looked when that first came out way back in 2012. But, what specifically were you just saying?
You were talking about he didn't say I am Batman.
Right. And people are expecting him to say I am Batman, which I think he will. But I really want to go off on a limb, and in that scene, he just starts beating the shit out of that guy, right? And he looks up and he says, I am vengeance. And then just goes nuts and just grabs everybody. And as he's beating the fuck out of them, he's saying, I am the Knight. And then as they're all just kind of sitting there, like laying there, I am Batman. I know it'll be cheesy, but it'll be like, no, he's becoming.
And he used beating down that one guy to intimidate every single one of them. Knowing he was one against all of them, he used that one instance to strike fear into everybody. Yep.
Because playing Arkham Knight, this last game in that trilogy, there's this part where you're at the Arkham Asylum and you're holding Joker up in the air, and that is exactly what Batman said. I am vengeance, I am the Knight, I am Batman. I would really like to see that play out into this, because the Batman movie looks like it's heavily influenced on the animated series.
Yeah.
Very, very influenced on that, which is great. Someone needs to be influenced off of this series right here. This is it. Yep. And that's Harvey Dent, Two-Face. Like, oh man, I love this show.
No, I like the vibe of it. It really looks interesting.
Yeah, it's
a different take on
Very
everything.
noir.
Yep.
Like when I used to explain, like, I want this as the Batman movie where it's the Riddler speaking, whispering in all these gang members' ears. This is as close to my pitch as I think I'm gonna get.
Yeah.
With that, it being Riddler essentially, it's crime ridden. It's more realistic in that sense of like. I mean, I say Batman, but even Mr. Freeze I could see that existing in this crazy universe. But this is the tone I wanted all along of like, no, keep it
more grounded.
Yeah, street and crime. Like the first Batman game or Batman movie, Batman Begins, I love how it deals with Carmine Falcone being like, I run this fucking city. Like I have no problem putting a bullet in your head in front of all these politicians.
Nobody's going to do anything.
I want to see that city.
Yep.
I don't want to say I don't care about Joker causing chaos, but I want to see the shit that's like, wait a minute. That corrupt stuff needs to go. Like, I came up with this. I came up with it, but I got this stupid little quote of a riddle that I was just thinking of. The Dark Knight is here, and so we see. Dead bodies sprinkled throughout a corrupt city. Who's doing this? Or who's doing things like this? Who could it be? In 2021, you will see. And like, I just was like thinking of Riddler shit, and I'm like, that's like it's such a perfect little riddle for him.
Yeah.
Because then at the end of the trailer, he does say, you'll see. I don't know, I was just in my own like state of mind thinking like that would be so cool. And all this and that. What do I do with my I don't have any paperwork for it, 'cause that's all up here in my head. But I loved this trailer. Everything it had to do with, from the beginning of it to right to the end. If you haven't seen the trailer, go watch the Batman 2020 trailer. For it being a movie that's only about 25-30% filmed, this trailer looked like the movie made it look like it was finished.
And then I like when he took the cowl off and you saw like the
grease paint, whatever.
He looked conflicted, like he looked like he knew what he was doing, but he didn't at the same time. You know?
That's why I think,
just in his facial expression,
I think he will be one of the best Bruce Wayne Batmans, because I've watched a lot of interviews not after this trailer, but like to try to get behind him and hyped on him. Dude's right out there. Like he's out there like Joaquin Phoenix is out there, which gave me the greatest fucking version of the Joker that's ever been filmed.
Yeah.
Which a character like this guy could be the greatest version of Batman we have ever seen, and I'm still going to be on record and say this is going to be the best Batman movie ever made. I truly believe that, because the reception this trailer has gotten, everybody's on board.
Yeah. I have not seen a negative thing about this.
No, and so many people, not so much myself, were negative on Robert Pattinson being Batman. I needed a reason to believe it. Not so much like, I'm just going to say no. But like, I haven't even heard any of the naysayers say, like, he's still small. Yeah, but the guy could be a midget. The way he handled that fucking beatdown was like, oh my God. So awesome.
And you don't need to be big and hulking to have a presence and, to set a tone.
And that's like Tim Burton saying when he was doing the Batman 89, the producers were like, he said they were bringing in people that looked like Schwarzenegger. And he goes, we get Batman is a brooding force. He goes, but that's not my version. Right. That wasn't my vision of Batman. And then Howard Stern goes, so Mr. Mom, that's who you wanted? It's like, yeah, I get that too, the harping on that. But sometimes you got to take that chance. I mean, look at Heath Ledger. Everybody shit on him, right? Like, oh, this guy. I was just excited for a new Batman movie at that time, to where I really didn't give a fuck who it was playing him. I just wanted a new Batman film. But it's just, this movie looks fantastic. I'm not going to harp so much on like my personal feelings for it, but I'm going to get into what I have been finding during my searches.
And I like that with digital film now, when you have something like this where they have a chance to go in and do something different or change something, it's easier for them to do it, and they can make it the way they originally wanted it without,
completely changing the whole aesthetic of it.
Yeah.
Now, these are going to be solely screenshots for Dave. But, like, that's a better one. Like, another one of the Penguin just kind of...
Right.
And then I thought this was interesting, where he's getting shot. Remember, he gets shot in the chest, or the shoulder.
Yeah.
But look at his bat symbol, how it's lighting up.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Isn't that strange looking?
Yeah.
I thought that was very peculiar, like very odd looking. Now, my thought with this Batman movie, that was the scene right there for the Justice League, where originally the sky was red, and it just looks stupid.
Yeah,
that looks cool to me. This character, no one knows. And again, we're back on the Snyder Cut again real quick. I'm just showing some pictures. But, like, I don't know who that is. Like, I had to look that up. Like, even people on other forums, like, we don't know who that character could be. Just very, very interesting things. But with the Batman trailer, they show you in the beginning, it kind of looks... I'm assuming it's the Riddler. He's kind of got, like, a plastic bag over his head with the glasses over top of it, which to me is why I think it's the Riddler, the glasses specifically. If it didn't have glasses, I could believe it could be the villain Hush, which the villain Hush is another Batman villain, and he wears bandages all over his face. But that didn't really look like bandages. It looked more like a black bag to hide his face.
Yeah, with like duct tape on it and stuff. Yeah.
With the glasses, again, over, because this guy clearly needs glasses to see, which is the Riddler. He's always had glasses. I've never not seen him with them. It's clearly the whole story is like some corruption in the city. The guy that I had previously said that, well, now this will be the more current one, Don, the guy that's in the trailer with the duct tape on his face that says "No More Lies." I've said before, I believe that guy is like a public figure. Maybe he was the mayor.
Yeah.
Maybe he was the mayor, and he gets all the publicity for like stopping these bad guys. Even though this dude's corrupt, he's probably right in with the bad guys. So Riddler's trying to expose that. I had a thumbnail, or not a thumbnail, but a screenshot of in the background. It said Maroni crime stopped or something like that. I looked into that as like, all right, well maybe that's like the pivotal point right there. Like the Maronis, their shit gets foiled and the corruption starts from that. But I thought more into that of, I don't think that's really the plot. I think they're saying the Maronis are there because they're the ones. Sal Maroni is the guy that creates Two-Face. And Harvey Dent is rumored to be in this movie.
Yep.
So we may or may not get to see the origin of the acid in court getting splashed in Harvey Dent's face. That would be really neat. There were some other little things where it could be the Riddler's doing his own thing. He just wants to have corruption exposed for the sake of it, because I have no idea. The bigger, heavier set guy that they show in the trailer that's kind of looking all like, not mischievous, but really suspicious. You know what I'm talking about, slick back hair. I found out during other research that he is Commissioner Loeb. That is the original commissioner. And I don't have the picture on my phone anymore. I deleted it. But in the picture, in the video, you can see everybody. I think this is a press meeting or something after that Don guy is dead. To be like, oh, look at, corruption. I don't know how they're going to go around. Because Bruce Wayne is there watching him. Clearly, like, there's something going on with these fucking people. Yep. But if you look around at Gordon is right there. Clearly, he's not Commissioner Gordon yet. He's just Detective Gordon or something. Everybody around this Commissioner Loeb guy has this look of, like, misery. Yep. While this guy, not because he's looking at the camera, it's just a shot they give you, he's got a smirk on his face like, you grimy motherfucker. There's something bad with you, right? I think that's really cool. There's a bunch of other little things. But what a lot of people are... Well, actually, I'm going to say the Hush thing first. Until it's confirmed that it is the Riddler, it's hard for me to think it is, only because... Now, I know Paul Dano confirmed he was the Riddler, but again... This was not confirmed in this trailer that it's the Riddler. Right. Now, well, there's Riddlers in it. He's wearing a green jacket. Okay, all right, that's true. But I'm gonna counteract that. They made it as a movie. I think the movie was just called Hush. Again, Hush in the comics is known as Thomas Elliot, who is a friend of Bruce Wayne's when they're kids. Both families have a lot of money. Thomas Elliot, as a kid, is jealous of Bruce Wayne, though, because Bruce Wayne's parents are loving and unconditional love, where Thomas Elliot's parents are like, business, 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 we just happen to have a kid. Yeah. So he's jealous of that. So when Bruce Wayne's parents die, Bruce Wayne's now getting all this publicity and, oh, poor him, and sympathy, and this and that. So now this Thomas Elliot guy's like, well, fuck you, dude, like, I want the same thing. So he kills his parents to make it look like an accident. Psychologically, he's already gone. Right. So that's not even going to have a normal outcome. He ends up wanting to become Bruce Wayne and he's a surgeon, cuts his face to bits, and then reforms his face to look like Bruce Wayne's. That's why he wears the bandages, because he doesn't look like Bruce Wayne. He's all fucked up looking. So, in the Hush movie, that's who they want you to think is the villain the whole fucking time. And then at the end, it gets revealed to you that it is not Hush. It is the Riddler being Hush, just playing everybody. Yeah. And it's like, wow. So, knowing that Riddler has been Hush in a cartoon movie, is this an Easter egg that he just happens to look like Hush? Right. Or is that Hush and Riddler just happens to be in a movie with him? It doesn't give me anything definitive to say, this is what I truly know. And I love that. Because even as a comic book fan, I can't just be like, I know. Because I don't now. Now it's like, wait a minute.
And going in with that speculation is fun, you know.
And not only that, it gets bigger. No one, including myself, would have ever suspected the Court of Owls to play into a live-action movie unless it was specifically a movie about the Court of Owls. Now, people that are listening, you yourself, be like, "What do you mean, a Court of Owls? Like, didn't you just, say they're going to be in that Arkham or that Gotham game or whatever?" And like, yeah, they're going to be in Gotham Knights, which I think is supposed to be your segue into an introduction to these people. So when they're in the movie, you're not like, I've never heard of them.
Yeah.
Now, this, you know what? I have to pause for a minute. I'm just thinking of it right now because they just showed the character on the screen. Back to Suicide Squad real quick. One of the characters is Ratcatcher 2. I did not read her name. I would like to really quick. Is that it right there? I saw her on the screen. I completely skipped over it. Daniela Melchior is playing Ratcatcher 2. Specifically Ratcatcher 2. Because the first Ratcatcher, Charles Phineas, whatever the fuck his name is Ratcatcher, the original. She is clearly the second one, which I think is kind of fun, because they don't often say... There's a lot of characters that are like number 2 or number 3, because there's been different iterations of them. I think it's cool that they're specifically saying 2 in her name.
All right, I gotta go to the bathroom really bad.
Go to the bathroom? I will keep just plugging in. So, I will give a quick synopsis of like kind of more of the Court of Owls. The lineages, they've always been around. They're basically the founders of Gotham City in a sense. There's different versions, different iterations. But the one that I'm, the most common, I guess, they've been around since the beginning of Gotham. Like I just said, they're basically the founders. Not in anything I've ever read or seen were the Waynes ever correlated with them. But I really think in this movie, this new Batman movie, the way the corruption seems to be, the way the history of Gotham seems to be, the way the Riddler, who I think it is, at the end of the trailer, is saying to Bruce Wayne, "You're a part of this too." He says how. You'll see. I think it falls back, it's going to play into the Waynes, not so much were villains, but they weren't as clean-cut, polished as we've been seeing them portrayed in other movies. Even in The Joker, they show they show Thomas Wayne, not so much he's corrupt, but they show you he's not that shining armor, that white knight that the viewers have always perceived him because of how Bruce has always remembered his parents, or how they were always acknowledged by other members of the community or whatever. So I think this will really play into the mythos of what we know, but also changing up what we don't know. And I'm very excited for that. The Birds of Prey would be a very cool... the Birds of Prey could be an overarching villain. Say they want to do a trilogy, because that's most movies now. They want to do a trilogy. Well, okay, subtly hit at the Birds of Prey in this movie, while making, other characters more prominent, but there's something, like the League of Shadows, it's always there. It's always there. It doesn't really go away. You just don't get to focus on it right now, because that's not what the story is. I would personally like that. I would think that's really cool. Now that Dave is back, I will get into why I think the Court of Owls may or may not be in this movie. And like I had said, just some of the wording of things in this movie, the playing up to the Gotham City itself as a character, there's going to be a lot of revelations of like, oh, wow. And I think Batman's biggest one is going to be, my parents were not the people I thought they were.
Yep.
And I've never really seen that. So I'm very, very interested in seeing that. These are my thoughts on why I think the Court of Owls will be in this movie. Let me get this right. Ooh. Okay, in the Court of Owls, there's no one specific person. I don't know any specific name to a member of the Court of Owls. Like I in Gotham. Court of Owls are in Gotham.
Yeah. Yep.
I didn't even think of that. The Court of Owls are in Gotham at like the last 2 seasons or something like that. They show the old lady with the white hair. They show them kind of wearing like the little like.
And Gordon's uncle's part of it.
Is part of it,
Yep.
right? So you kind of have an idea of what the Court of Owls are. In it, I can't remember in the show or not, but the Court of Owls, there's their minions or their soldiers. I don't know how you want to word it. Called Talons.
Yep.
And they are basically the assassins of that group. They are the League of Assassins, League of Shadows, whatever one you want to version it as. They are the fighting force behind the corporate kind of dealings. And then the Court of Owls themselves, they wear, in the show, I think they only wore like masquerade ball style masks.
Yeah.
But in the comics, I have a picture right here, trying to zoom in on it without revealing the main thing. They wear just like blank white masks.
Yep.
That's essentially what the organization looks like in the movie, or not in the movie. I'm sorry, in the comics.
Right.
Just regular business suit people with the white little mask on, right? Now, before I get into that, the image, going back to the Riddler. This was the card. This was the Riddle card he left for Batman, okay? What's on the cover of that?
A white fucking mask.
Dave.
Or what?
An owl.
Oh, an owl. Oh, okay. I was looking at the sky.
It's a skeleton, you're right. But an owl and just who?
Yep.
Why? Why would the Riddler, out of everything he can leave makeshift homemade cards, why would he specifically use a card with an owl on it?
Yep.
Now, if that's because if it's just an Easter egg, okay. But the rest of what I found, too fucking coincidental, right? Okay, so there's the owl. Your first glimpse of an owl. Now it's blurry. This is very blurry, but you can sort of see what it looks like. The scene where Batman and Selina Kyle are facing off in that quick. Does that not look like the shape of like a mask?
Yep.
And it kind of looks like a mask in the background. So maybe, because I think this is the same house that guy was killed in, the mayor's house. I'm thinking Selina Kyle goes back. Oh, the mayor's dead. I'm going to go loot his house. She doesn't have any clue of like the corruption or affiliations. But Batman is looking into it. So her and those two cross paths just coincidentally. Like that's just how they meet. But yet that, to me, just looks in the shape of a white mask. And then this. I'm going to go back to my original picture, the one that I originally took before I started noticing everything. I took a lot of pictures. Here's another one of... It's hard to see Penguin's face, but he's shaking like a leaf. I'm hungry. My blood sugar's low. I don't remember taking as many pictures. Oh yeah, now I do. Okay, that was the picture I took. The very first one I took. Just a quick thumbnail or screenshot of him. Remember I told you there was the cop right there?
Yep.
He's getting away from the police, which I think that's the police station, which will go back to that scene where it kind of shows him being aggressive with the cops, which I took another picture of, and you can tell his arms, Batman's arms are cuffed behind his back in that scene. So I'm very curious, because they show you Batman walking into the scene with the cops originally, and now he's handcuffed in a jail cell almost with them. Very, very confusing, and I just can't wait. But that's the first shot. Okay. This is it. This is the definitive.
Do you think like the commissioner could be part of the Court of Owls.
Oh, I don't know if he's gonna be part of the Court of Owls.
That has something to do with
I don't want everything to lead back to one thing.
Right.
Because people can just be corrupt for the sake of it.
Yeah.
I mean, especially now, a movie about, like, the police being corrupt. I don't think there's any big agenda out there in our world for cops to be corrupt other than just it's a bigger payday. But to have things you're questioning now, well, I got to question the commissioner, which may lead you to a new avenue to question, well, all right, he's fucked up, he's a piece of shit, but this over here, this is bigger than that. You know what I mean? Like, I would like that. Like, breadcrumbing to different trails, not so much everything needs
having a linear storyline.
Right, because if it all leads back to one thing, then how can it be a secret organization that no one's ever heard of? It has to have some kind of...
Yeah, why does the Riddler have to be the one to,
my thing with that, the Riddler could be hired by the Court of Owls to expose them, to expose all the corruption without exposing the Court of Owls themselves. Or...
But he takes it upon himself to do it anyways.
It could be the Riddler being like, look, I know who the Court of Owls are. Nobody else does. I know our government's fucked up too. Like, this could just be his old ploy.
Right.
He's always been the smartest man.
Wanting to show he's smarter than everybody else.
Right, exactly. This could be the ultimate. I exposed the secret organization and I exposed the corrupt Gotham, but yet you're still a piece of shit too because you're killing people to do it.
Yep.
So there's that. I'm not a villain. Well, yeah, your means are.
Yeah.
So there's a lot. There's a lot to think about.
What you're trying to get to may be honest, but
your
way you're going about it.
Exposing it, and then this. Again. That mask.
Yep.
Now try to picture that mask, the blurred one from the previous picture I showed you, up in that dude's office. Tell me, look up in the left corner. Or the right corner, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yep.
Does that not...
Yeah.
Does that not
That doesn't look like a face. That looks like something.
Especially with that part in the hair.
Yep.
Like it's a strap.
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, that's...
Yeah.
There's no definition on that face, neither. There's no shadowing of a nose, no shadowing of a lip.
No, that looks exactly like the mask in the fucking comic book. Yeah.
So I'm curious to know, like, if that's the police station, did Batman just expose people that were in the Court of Owls in that station? Was there some... I am so... Right there. Oh, I want to pause that, too. Ooh, that's the wrong remote. I'm so... Before, when I'm taking these screenshots and shit, I'm like, oh my god, who... This is all the... Penguin's here, Riddler's here, everybody's here, and now it's like there's more beneath the mask.
Yep.
Oh, man, I can't wait for that movie. That's all I got for...
And that's one you'll watch over and over again to find, little things that you didn't see before.
I'm so goddamn... And didn't mention this, but do you know... I know you don't. I don't think you do. But, Sal Maroni, the guy that's going to do Two-Face in or whatever, he has been casted for this movie.
Yeah.
You ever heard who it is? I know you'll get excited because I know you like the actor. John... Finish last
Like
name.
Leguizamo?
No.
Oh.
Close. Spanish.
Yeah.
I think. Hispanic. You know what it is. I know it once you think about it.
John. Fuck, man.
I'll say it. Turturro.
Oh, is it really?
He's gonna be a crime boss in it.
That's fucking cool.
Which I can totally see him being like a mafia style.
Oh yeah.
And I hope he's not comedic. I don't think they'll do that. I don't think they'll have him be like out of his way funny. I think he'll be like Heath Ledger's funny in that sense of like, this is my pile of money, I'm gonna burn it. Like that's not supposed to be funny, but it's kind of like, that's.
Yeah. That's a good.
Yeah, I think he'll be cool in the movie. It's totally setting up the tone for it to be a gangster flick with Batman elements.
Yep, and that's what you've always wanted.
I've always wanted that kind of movie. I've always wanted a Batman gangster flick movie. I mean, It just makes the most sense. He is the one character with the single most mafia gangster styled villains of all time. Why would you not center a movie around gangs?
Yep.
Like, yeah, you did that with The Dark Knight, but it was more to...
That was to move the Joker storyline along, you know?
Right. Because, he's not crime orchestrated. Joker is not affiliated with anybody. He's not organized crime. So it was just to show the more anarchy of that. I wish they would have done the more crime stuff, though, because that Russian dude was cool as a crime boss. Fucking Michael Jai White being a crime boss. I would have loved to have seen those guys interact throughout the movie, being like, look, fuck you, you bastard.
Yep.
Something like I would have loved to have seen more screen time with those guys. But I think this movie, this Batman movie, it's going to be the one for me. It's going to be the Batman movie for me.
I love that you're so excited about it.
I'm very excited for it.
And you're picking apart the trailer to see, that's good. That's
like
good shit.
Crazy, because it's not just like a new Batman movie, or whatever, because we've had Batmans every fucking 3 years. There's a Batman something. This is literally like the first Batman that is being treated like Batman, I feel. And like I don't want to discredit the Dark Knight movies, because all three of them are standout, great iterations of all those characters that they portrayed. But even then, it was like, I want to see something more. And like with Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, I want to see movies. I want to see the movies like that.
Yep.
Whoa, they have to be dark and gritty. Yeah, they do. They do. Those characters
that's
are.
the way you see Gotham, or you should see Gotham. It's dark and gritty, and Batman has to clean it up.
Exactly.
That's
the one thing,
whole point.
That's the one thing I loved about the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League game. You've only ever seen in all those... What is it? 4 of them up to this point? There's 5. There's 5 Arkham games. There's Blackgate, Arkham Blackgate, Arkham Origins, Arkham Asylum City, and Night. Arkham Blackgate, not so much. You're really just in the prison. But in those 5 games, essentially, you've only ever seen Gotham City, right? So in Suicide Squad Kill Justice League, they show you Metropolis for the first time in those games. And it's beautiful. It's clean. The sun is bright. The city is shining. But every time you see Gotham in those other games, it's either pitch black, it's raining, it's snowing, it's dark. It's like disgusting, like awful looking, but it's beautiful in its same token. So you kind of, I want to see those Gotham characters in that world that they would live in. When I go back and I watch The Dark Knight, do I sometimes question, like, guy dressing up like a clown? I don't see it. I don't see why he would do that in this world.
Right.
But I don't... It's realistic enough to where... Like, okay, Jared Leto's Joker, I cannot see that ever existing in anything. Like, why would anyone do... You're a gangster walking around barefoot. You aesthetically look like diarrhea.
Right. Even if you're crazy, like, you would have some kind of grounded nature to you.
I agree. Even the guy that legit thought he was the Joker in real life and shot people up or something, he didn't, like, dress up in purple suits, and he just had dyed hair and, like, a tattooed face or something. Like, I don't know. I enjoy those movies thoroughly. But when I sit back and I think about it, it's like that world wasn't built for Joker to exist in.
Yeah.
In comparison to the other 2 movies.
Right.
Because Dark Knight Rises and Batman Begins, they feel like they connect. Dark Knight does not.
Yeah.
To me. Like a guy getting half of his face burnt off. And I'm not trying to deconstruct the movie or the characters. I'm just trying to say why it could seem questionable in certain aspects. Like, you got 2 That dude would be in immense pain.
Yeah.
Like, not... Well, why aren't you saying that about Tommy Lee Jones? Okay. The difference is, Tommy Lee Jones's skin has been destroyed. Scar tissue is going to heal. Dark Knight Two-Face has exposed bone.
He wouldn't be able to do all the shit that he was doing.
The tendons in his face were exposed. They wouldn't be with... They would have melted. They would have ripped. The tendons... All the muscles would have ripped apart because of the heat. Now, again, I'm not trying to say that it's not cool. I mean, he's my favorite villain. But in that world, in that specific movie, I do have a hard time with my suspension of disbelief when I go back and I watch, like, Bane. Now, you didn't make Bane massive or fueled on, like, a toxin. You made him a normal dude that had a hard time breathing. He needed the mask.
Yep.
The mask was part of who he was. It hid his identity, for one, but it's how he breathed. It had a point.
And when Batman ended up hitting it, he started going nuts.
Right, and he stumbled. His breathing was different. Yep. Right, exactly. He was fueled on the rage, which I bought into because you saw his backstory.
So it still fit with his character, but...
And he didn't look too ridiculous.
Yep.
Ra's al Ghul in the first one looked like a normal dude. He plays off of the idea of immortality comes in many forms.
Yep.
But yet he can still die. Where the gimmick is in the comics, Ra's al Ghul never fucking dies.
Yep.
So in this movie, I want to see all those characters, sure. I want to see Two-Face. I want to see a Joker. I want to see people that shouldn't exist, but do it in a way where it's like, this makes sense. Now, if you can't do a Mr. Freeze because it just looks too goddamn cartoony next to the Penguin's real gangster thug look, then don't.
Right.
Don't do it.
You don't have to go back to those. Yep.
But when I look at the Arkham games, that's my source material because that's as gritty as I've ever seen Batman. That's as realistic as I've ever seen those characters. But yet, they're still like... That Joker looks ridiculous, but his mannerisms, the way he interacts with other people, I believe he's real.
Right.
I believe that Joker's real because, not only because of all the things I just said, all the people around him are making me believe. It's like wrestling.
Yeah.
It's just like wrestling, okay? Now, I watched a smidget of the Raw Underground. Who do they have fighting? Bobby Lashley and Dolph Ziggler.
Yep.
No. Just, even with all the people around him cheering him and making it seem like a believable fight, no. Why? Because Bobby Lashley is a real MMA fighter. Dolph Ziggler is a trained wrestler.
Yep.
I can't be bought into that.
And you can say, oh, well, Ziggler was a amateur wrestler. So what? All you've known him is the dude that bumps and shit.
And if that was real... I'm sorry. Jack Swagger is an amateur wrestler, MMA fighter. He is not going to get his ass kicked by an amateur fighter or amateur wrestler like Dolph Ziggler. Now, I know I said Bobby Lashley and Jack Swagger, but I'm just using all of them as examples. I don't know how you would put Bobby Lashley in Raw Underground and not constantly have him be the dominant.
Yeah.
Because of that. But that's, to segue back on what I'm saying, you put Dolph Ziggler in there with... Throw someone out there, I don't know.
Rollins.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. It's built the same. If you throw Seth Rollins in there with Dolph Ziggler and you try to make me believe that that's a Raw Underground fight, that is when I will be like, okay. That's my suspension of disbelief. Now, do I believe that those two would really fight each other like that? No. I think Dolph Ziggler? I think Dolph Ziggler would kick Seth Rollins' ass because he's just so much more intense, ferocious-wise. Everybody else would make me believe that if Seth Rollins beat him, okay. But when you have the same aesthetics, everything is exactly the same, except now you have Dolph Ziggler versus Bobby Lashley. I don't buy into that.
Right.
That's like putting Brock Lesnar in there. I don't buy into that. If you put Brock Lesnar in there against Bobby Lashley, now you've got
a fight. Now you've got a contest. Yep.
But it goes right back in.
Or if you used to put Strowman in with Lashley.
At
least that's a huge dude that has a chance against the guy that's an MMA fighter. If I see Drew
Gulak in there next week going one-on-one with Braun Strowman, why didn't you just have this match on Raw?
Right.
Because if you want me to believe that this is a Raw Underground fight, then I need to see Strowman or realistic fighting ability.
Yeah.
Like, it's just... But it goes back into almost anything. If you can make me believe that should be there, then I shouldn't think twice about it.
Like that, I think the Gotham TV show did it really well. How they built up the villains to be real, but you could realize...
Even though they were cartoony and campy...
But they fit into that whole aesthetic.
They did. And that's because... I definitely chopped this up. Gotham, the show itself, knew what it was.
Yep.
It didn't say, we're NYPD Blue or we're Heat of the Night. Like, we're a real cop show with cartoony elements. It knew. That show knew it was campy.
Yep.
But yet, treated it like, we got to respect the campiness of this. And I love Gotham. I adore Gotham
I do too.
So much. I kind of look at this Batman trailer as the movie to the Gotham show.
Right.
Even though Gordon's black and white, blah, blah, blah. But when I was watching it a couple times in, I'm like, you know what? These are the characters from Gotham. This is like 10 years later. And when he finally came back and all the villains are taken over and Batman's got to change the world.
Because even the final season, like Penguin starts getting fat.
You know
what I mean? So
yep,
he's got to age, you know. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
But the only thing though with the Colin Farrell Penguin, I do have to say, is he's not short, which bothers me.
Right.
Because that just gives... Now, not just because he's the Penguin, he has to literally physically look like a penguin, but that just added to the Penguin's character of just being this short little guy with a Napoleon complex.
Yeah.
Like, that added to that psychological... Because essentially, all of Batman's like main villains are his psyche. Two-Face is his split personality, his duality. The Joker is his psychology of, I could do that.
I don't want to do that, but I could. I'm capable of it.
Like, all the villains, there really is like a full but like a video. I remember watching this years ago of someone dissecting like Batman's 5 main villains and saying those are his 5 personalities.
Well, like Freeze, he's trying to save his wife. Batman's trying to save Gotham.
Right, they're not
villains.
Right. Like, Victor Freeze is not a villain. He is just on the wrong side of the right moves.
Yep.
But I really look forward to this movie. I could have went way more into it. No offense to you, but I know Mark would have really been able to keep up with a lot of that and interject on it. But real quick, this is what I wanted to pause on if it'll play it. Actually, I'll rewind it real quick. When this is from The Dark Knight Rises. This is what I was just watching earlier today. When they did the Joker movie and they showed him out on like a TV show and shit, I even in my head, I'm like, he's gonna kill everybody in that audience. Like, that was my first initial thought when I first saw the trailer and I saw Joker on like the sound stage or whatever doing the TV show. I absolutely thought he's gonna kill everybody. I already know how this ends. I've seen this in this movie, and it was a little bit different. But this is the Dark Knight Rises, and you're not gonna be able to hear it, but I'll pause it.
Dr. Walter also has an ego. I believe that Joker's ego, Walter's ego.
Okay, right there. This is essentially where they took the Joker scene from.
Yep.
Of him being on the late night show. That guy to the left of the Joker is his like psychiatrist doctor guy that thought this whole time Joker, I've rehabilitated him, he's my friend. And then that is Merv, M-E-R-V, not Murray, Merv, the late night show host. And in this scene, they might show it real quick. Okay. They actually show it of Joker smashing that. And I thought this was cool that they did it in the movie. Smashed the glass on the table and then stuck it right in the, or I think he sticks it right in the throat of his doctor, and then takes it out and then slices the throat of the late night show host.
Right.
And that's clearly where, I mean, this is based off of the comic too. This isn't just in the movie, where they got their initial idea from, which I thought was really genius.
That's cool.
I thought that was very genius. And then you can see the blood all over him. And then that right there, Joker goes on a killing spree. Batman goes and hunts him down, and then Joker ends up getting killed at the end of it. But that's pretty much where they got their ideas from. And like, if you've never seen them, right, the cartoon ones?
No.
If you ever want to watch
I've seen the Killing Joke, but
the Dark Knight Returns, both of those movies, I think are the best animated Batman movies they've ever done. They're just so good. They really are good. That's where they based the Ben Affleck Batman off of. Is that storyline? The Batman vs Superman movie was based. I mean, Jesus Christ, the whole fucking DCEU Batman universe is based off of that.
Oh, that's cool.
That fucking series, which is pretty sweet. But I think honestly, let me double check my notes. That's pretty much it. I did forget to say though, with the Flash movie, not only is Michael Keaton going to be in it, but Ben Affleck's Batman or Bruce Wayne, which one, probably both, will be returning, which is very cool. I think it'll be his swan song, though, like his, I'm going to say goodbye the right way.
Didn't he say he didn't want to do it anymore?
He did. And I chalked that all up to he was on one hell of a drinking bender when Justice League came out. So I think that really played up a big part of why he wanted to just step away from it.
Right.
So, yeah, he'll be back in that capacity, which will be cool to see that. I think that's it.
I know honestly. It wasn't much help today, but I tried to chime in when I could.
Well, I definitely could say this is one of our longer episodes, but it's one I personally wanted to do.
And it's something you're passionate about, which is good, you know, so.
I wanted to do this anyways, like we said at the top of the show, for a more current, specifically for this episode and stuff, more current, up-to-date topic, which works out perfectly. We were going to have Marcadius be here, but he ended up getting called into work, so he's here with us in spirit. Dave had, given us a couple of gifts, which was pretty fantastic. Never would I have thought that is something I would have received. We talked plenty about the DC Fandome event that happened this past Saturday, August 22nd. I know there was a slew of other things that happened. There's a Static Shock TV movie cartoon movie. There's rumors that there's going to be a Static Shock live-action movie. I know there was some other things, but they weren't really on my radar. And we just really want to talk about the things that are a big to-do.
I did find the thing of you saying that.
How am I saying? How is it like that?
You said it like that a couple times, and you say to-do every once in a while, too.
Okay, so saying that isn't someone's catchphrase, though. That's a saying. There's things to do. Like, we got things to do. Like,
you didn't really say it like that.
That doesn't make sense. So how would I ever say it? To do.
You were saying it was in the Great American Bash one. You were saying something about Sheamus, and you were like, "Oh, Sheamus, that's a to do." You really were saying it like that.
I need to have context because that doesn't even make sense to me, other than if I was using it as an expression, not as a catchphrase.
No, I see how saying it as a catchphrase.
Because you could have went with who the fuck is Jesus? Off the rails. There's a handful of them because I'm thinking to do. Like a lot of people say there's a to do. We got things to do. It's the Batman movie. It's a big to do in the world. Like I just kept thinking like that's just an expression. So, but you'll have to get the sound bite or the clip or whatever so I can. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, motherfucker? But on that note, I pretty much said I feel like what I wanted to say. I'm sure I'll think of shit later, but hey, whatever. Yeah, that'll end it. Unless you got anything you'd like to add real quick? Any new news or anything?
Not that I can think of. I mean, I'm excited to do the Lord of the Rings again. I think those are a lot of fun to do. And
do we have any topics for the wrestling ring?
We're doing SummerSlam.
SummerSlam, that's right.
And they did change the hair versus hair match. It wasn't that
because it leaked online that Sonya Deville was going to lose. So what? Now you're not fulfilling what you promised. Now loser has to leave. What's she going to do? Come back in 3 weeks with her fucking head shaved?
Yeah.
Because I've read rumors that she's got huge. She's huge on, or Vince McMahon is huge on her, and sees potential with her. It's always weird when I hear the fucking ice cream dingling truck. Like, that's weird. Look at this truck. Get up and look at this truck. Tell me you let your kids get ice cream from that truck.
Nope.
No fucking way. Look at that gross fucking truck. There's two of them. There's a white one that goes around that looks like the typical Mr. Ding-a-ling with the stickers, and then there's the rapist van.
Yeah, that's a sketchy looking fucking vehicle.
It doesn't even say ice cream on the side of it. It said Pete's Hot Dogs.
Yep, and it had a little bit of ice cream on. Yeah. Nope. Little thing. My dad used to drive the Mr. Ding-a-ling truck when he was younger.
I ain't gonna hate on that.
Can't picture my dad doing it, but it's funny to know that he did.
Go get your fucking ice cream! I don't know if that's how your dad did it.
That I could picture.
You want ice cream, you little prick? I only got vanilla. Fuck you. I have no idea if that's how your dad was when he was younger, but if I could imagine it.
I could see the rage. I could definitely see
I just wanted a snickerdoodle. That's a fucking cookie! Something along those lines. Yeah.
No, but the SummerSlam definitely. I'm going to get a match listing of what order they're in without getting any spoilers. Try to do that. So we can kind of pick which we want to do.
I think I did see a spoiler. I mean, not the Mandy Rose thing. I feel like I saw.
I do want to do Dominic and Seth Rollins. I want to see how that plays out.
I'm not even going to partake in that conversation because I don't give two fucks about Mysterio. I don't give a fuck about Dominic. I really don't give a fuck about Seth Rollins. I mean, we can watch it, but I'm gonna shit all over it hard because I just
want to see. I just want to see it.
Fuck about any of them. I really fucking don't. I really truly.
I guess they're gonna call him Prince Mysterio because Rey is king, so they're gonna call him Prince Mysterio.
Okay, but when did Rey become king?
I know
that a thing?
But the word Rey means king, so I guess that's the way they're going with it. So Dominic will be Prince.
That's fucking. I'm gonna say it right
that's
now.
dumb.
I'm gonna probably be really politically incorrect and offend somebody. That is fucking faggy ass fucking queer. That's queer as fuck. King Mysterio because his name is Rey. You've never said that in his whole career.
Yeah.
I've never heard that ever once. He has no affiliation with being a king. He's never won a King of the Ring, so there's no connective tissue. He's not a king of wrestling. He's not the king of the 619, unless that's what they're going with. So that's fucking queer. I don't even give a shit. That is fucking queer. Only trying to get... I would love it. And I heard Conan and Disco saying this on their podcast. I would love it once Vince fucking dies... Within a handful of years, the company gets bought out and gets completely dismantled. Completely dissolved. I think WWE is the single worst wrestling company that has existed since it started doing the shit product that it's done. It does not pander to the crowd in any way that they want. I did see a spoiler, and that's what's pissing me off right now for SummerSlam. I did see something. And it's going to enrage me because of what they're doing. I think WWE is a crapshoot. Every time you hear people leave that place, all they say is like, oh my God, it's awful. To where, why would anybody want to go there?
Yeah.
Why is that place held in such a high prestige?
It's like they're going for the money and then they're leaving and shitting on it.
It's garbage. I hate what WWE is right today. I fucking hate that company. I mean, it's garbage. A swamp match? I'm just hearing about this. A fucking swamp match?
It was bad. It was bad.
Which goes into your eye versus eye match?
Yeah, that was... And any time that Bruce, defends anything, I'm like, dude, this is indefensible.
It really is.
It is.
And then they want to crucify Russo for his... Sure, Russo did some stupid shit. But he's not doing it anymore, so who's writing their shit now?
Yep.
You know what I mean?
And for him to always say, "Oh well, I argued with McMahon." You ain't arguing with him no more. You know,
no,
you're a yes man. You're a total yes man right now.
I love Pritchard, but you are a shill. And that's why I think Cornette is the single greatest mind in wrestling today. Because he has no one to answer to. He's going to say what the fuck he wants, whether it offends you or doesn't offend you. And 9 times out of 10, it's accurate.
The AEW stuff is starting to become shtick.
It's a gimmick. Yeah. It's a gimmick. Oh, absolutely.
But he does make good points. That I will. But he's running on that like he ran on Russo.
Right. Which is fine.
Yep.
To me, which is fine. Because it's not going to hurt the product.
Right.
It's not.
No.
It's only going to help Cornette and keep him relevant. And it's only going to help the product because now people literally, I hear on other podcasts, them reviewing Cornette's thoughts on the product opposed to, well, what are your guys' thoughts? Because he's polarizing. People want to know what Cornette's thoughts are.
Yep.
I mean, Mark Madden was just on fucking the Inferno, or Keeping It 100, and they were talking, and I thought it was funny. If you know who Mark Madden is, you know who Mark Madden is in the wrestling world and sports world, really. Kind of a Rush Limbaugh.
Yeah.
My opinion is fact! Very out there dude. But kind of intelligent. I mean, he's knowledgeable. But he's going off on a rant saying, Cornette is like the most intelligent guy in the business right now, and he knows what he's saying. And then Inferno or Disco's like, have you heard what he's been saying lately? And Mark Madden, this just shows you who he is. He's like, no. Why would I listen to anything he has to say? Like, oh, wait a minute. Hold on. You're defending him, but yet you're like, okay, I don't listen to him. It's just ridiculous stuff. Yep. And we'll get into it. We'll get into all this topic when we do the SummerSlam episode. Excuse me. I think that's the sign to leave. But on that note, we will end today's episode of the Comic Shop. I would like to thank the Deadly One, as always. Absolutely, actually, I'd like to really thank him for the movie. I'm really gassy right now, so I'm trying to not fucking shit and burp and fart and die on camera. Definitely thank him for that. I know Marcadius will be excited when he receives his. But this was the DC Fandome episode, and I am, as always, the Wildcard Ace Williams. I'm
Deadly Dave.
And we are the Comic Wrestling Podcast, and we just, again, want to say thank you so much for tuning in and checking out.